Zach,
Yo.
I've been playing Elden Ring, and it's so frustratingly difficult, it's not even funny.
You know, I know you've been playing Elden Ring, Dean.
Oh.
All day. All day I'm like a single parent. I wash the dishes, I dry the dishes, I put the dishes up. I'm organizing all kinds of things, 10, 20, 30 things going on. Where's my left hand? Man, I got nothing. I'm over here.
Sound like
I'm over here like just fucking doing everything. And I'm like, I need Dean's backup.
I'm like a single mother.
And then he gets in the chat and he has no idea what's going on. He's like, it's too difficult to understand what's going on. I'm like, fuck, it's Discord. There's 6 messages. Scroll up, bro.
No, that's what I meant. There's no context to the messages. Like, what do you guys want to do next? I don't fucking know. I'm not the DM. Like, whatever you got story-wise, let's go.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's a choose-your-own adventure.
When the fuck am I going to need you to cook tiramisu?
There you go. Eddie got the joke. Eddie got the fucking joke. There you go. Thank you, Eddie. Holy shit. Anyway, so what Elden Ring? Tell me all about it.
Oh, bro, it's just like, what's like the most difficult game you've ever played? Multiply that by like 10, and then by like another 20, and that's how fucking hard this game is.
It's like a throwback to the old school games, right?
It's unapologetically difficult. It's mean.
Wow, shoots and ladders to the extreme, baby.
It's new.
God damn it!
Oh, how terrible! That was not me.
I scrolled up right at the.
There we
go.
Can't blame Dean for that one.
This could be a great show.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection. These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Shall we lock in the artillery power?
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Eddie.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Vengeance.
Wow. I'm CeeCee.
Welcome. That's amazing. Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly, the weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that mattered the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our friends over at 1/6 Corner for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. Guys, don't forget, use code capital CW10, that's code CW10, during our live show for 10% off all in-stock items over at 16corner.com.
We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. There is some spicy meatballs, as the Italians would say. We got some spicy meatballs, and we're going to talk about them, some new competition entering the 1/6 game. Before we get into that, let's check in the chat. We got Toy Mafia, Tukatri, Brenton, Gigi says Art Prince, great, another thing to tax. Carlitos, this is the way. Paul Schreiber, Sweet Angel, Absolute Irwin, John Ortiz, Brenton, Palmer, S Beam, DJ, Eddie Aero Maestro, hashtag R Word Nation, David Jones, Mark Pearson, Scott Bradley, Tukatri, Pablo Meza, bunch of angels in the chat. Dean, let's kick it off with the world's favorite podcast segment.
Yeah, you guys ready? Sorry, my mouse was stuck.
Are you ready?
Jesus. It's new this week. Yeah. What'd you get new this week? Also, first off, Eddie, how dare you?
Insane.
That was you last week, so don't you dare. Yeah, so what'd you get new this week? All right, we'll talk about this more on Friday at the John's Club, the Collectors Club. I got my last 2 key issues for Punchline. Batman number 89, her first cameo, and then Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen 3, full appearance. First prints. I kind of want to get the variant covers because they were a little cheaper, but I feel like like when you see like the book, but you have to explain it if it's a variant cover. So, but that's all my Punchline books. So
Wow.
What's the joke?
Bro, you gotta get those on the wall. You're gonna scratch them up. Every time I see you hold them like that, I cringe.
Dude, Hell Arisen scratched up. It kind of pissed me off, but it's
Well,
not that bad.
hit me up, bro. I got some polywatch. We could buff that right out.
Hey, hell yeah, dude. I'm gonna
Can you ask Danny if it's still a 9.8 if the actual acrylic scratched up?
I feel like Danny doesn't actually.
Danny lost credibility.
It's actually 9.
I feel like his head might
9.4.
explode if you tell him it's a 9.8 inside the scratched up casing.
Turns out he was lying about 4 inches.
True words never spoken.
Actually, you can just send this back and they'll re-slab it for you.
For $20.
$20.
There you go.
So if it's cracked, like if you buy like a cracked one on eBay, like real cheap, you can just send it in and get it re-slabbed.
If it doesn't get damaged from the crack.
True.
Yeah. Anyone else get anything new this week?
I wish, but no, I've been good recently.
I bought gas.
There you go. That was the price of a 9.8, John. Jesus Christ, dude! There was a guy at my daughter's daycare. He was driving a big, some type of large truck, and the guy that owns the daycare was like, "How much does it cost to fill that up?" He's like, "Yeah, it was about $170 today."
Jeez.
Oh
like,
my
Jesus
gosh,
Christ.
It's craziness.
It's like a monster truck.
I would
Anyways,
never leave my house.
I don't leave my house.
Why do you think I haven't seen Batman yet?
Because Elden Ring, come on, not because
Yeah,
of
come on, not because of. I'm all in on the McFarlane Batman line. I had this on order and I totally forgot. It just showed up one day. The McFarlane DKR Batman, and holy shit, this is a cool figure. It doesn't have, anywhere near the amount of articulation as the Mafex one, but for $20, I think it's kind of checks all the boxes for me, and it's a beefy boy. I also picked up the Drifter. Also by McFarlane. So this is the Drifter figure and the Drifter motorcycle. Honestly, I like the Drifter figure way more than I thought I would. I think, especially after seeing the movie, he definitely is bulked up when he's wearing that jacket. The meme of like him being Fat Man, kind of, I can look past that. And what's really cool is the bike.
I resemble that remark.
There you go. The bike comes with the helmets. You can swap
You
out
resemble
the heads.
that remark? That's horrible, dude.
Do
you get the joke? You just played on yourself?
Yes, that's what
Oh,
I said.
I thought you.
Okay.
My bad.
I say it.
Wow.
They always make fun of him on the show, and he says that. Come on, man.
Dean, I
resent that remark.
I think you were looking for this Batman also, the DK.
Bro, this Batman. Okay, I've turned a leaf on Batman.
You have,
and I need a Batman figure in my collection. Now, that's not like the Batman that deals with Punchline. He's a lot like slimmer.
Yeah.
But that fucking Batman looks dope as shit. For $20, that thing looks fucking badass.
Dude, I love it so much.
The Dark Knight Returns?
Yes.
Frank Miller Batman from Tom McFarlane, dude.
Yeah.
I need it. I asked you guys to keep an eye out for me because I don't really go to the stores that often.
I will.
I need that.
And
Zach, are you gonna build a figure?
I really want to, Eddie. I really do. But I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite comic looks for Batman. But in this wave are my least favorite Joker and least favorite Superman looks.
What's the bath?
The bath is the horse that he rides. It's like this black stallion. It's beautiful. And I do like the Robin, so I'm for sure going to get the Robin. And I may have to pay like secondhand prices for the bath pieces. But I'm like fully committed to Todd McFarlane. Honestly, 2022, I think thus far, obviously we're very early into the year. It's got to be my company of the year. Like in terms of distribution, the shit they're releasing, the quality, the improvements from last year, they're just making some banger shit. I mean, they're shipping in caps with 3 complete waves, comic, movie, and I think it was a video game or something like that. I've never seen some of those designs, but 3 complete waves.
Whole ass fucking islands.
Yeah.
Shipper.
Yeah, there you go. It's a fucking continent, bro.
Dude, for
fucking
real.
Crazy, bro.
I keep keeps sending pictures every time he finds them. I'm like, damn, dude.
Meanwhile, you go down the aisle, and Hasbro, it's the same fucking Lando that's been there since fucking Halloween. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and that like moth woman from the Marvel Legends. She's like purple and green. It's like,
I hate to see it.
Zach, are there 2 different bikes?
There is. So there's the Bat Cycle version, which is this one's more like a bike. I think you'd kind of get off the street, and the Bat Cycle is more customized. But man, the painting, the weathering, even the sculpting, like on the bottom of the bike, you can't really see it with my mouse, but on the bottom of the bike, there's like this wrap on it. And someone was commenting on one of the toy reviews because I was actually curious what it was too. It's like a carbon fiber tape that they put on that to kind of keep the heat down. I mean, it's fucking. I mean, and it's huge. I mean, this is like, it's not a 1/12. It's almost like a 1/11 maybe. Todd's stuff is like 7-inch scale, so this bike is quite substantial. And I'm like all in on Todd McFarlane stuff.
You did some weathering to this bike? Right?
No, this is this is stock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even here, let me see if I can bring it up on camera, but I mean, just the weathering on the helmet, like that's all stock weathering. I mean, it's not the best weathering, don't get me wrong, but it looks good enough, I think, for a...
Didn't realize it came with the helmet too. That looks great like that.
For Zach not to mess with it for this long, it's got to be pretty good. Because Zach will pop a figure open while we're in the store and start doing mods to it. It's like...
It's pretty bad.
Where did you even get that brush? Like, what the fuck is happening here?
My toxic trade.
Yeah.
Let's get into the news, though, boys. We got a ton to talk about. So there are 3 different versions of the Batman. So I'm just going to give you some pricing real quick. I think it actually might be 4. So you got the Batman regular for $300, the Batman Deluxe for $375, the Batman plus the Bat Signal for $515, and you can also get the Bat Signal by itself for $160. All of these are releasing April to September 2023. I think the portrait is really good. I think the hair is maybe not so good. Eddie was showing one of the statues on his show, and the hair just looked much finer. It looked really messy, kind of wet, like it looked in the film. And so I think Hot Toys definitely has some room for improvement on the hair sculpt. Portrait-wise, I think they did great. You do get several accessories from the movie in all 3 versions. You also get the separate eye-rolling system and interchangeable faces. On the Deluxe base, you have that LED light effect, and the Bat Signal does light up. But looking here, the differences are for the collectible set exclusive, which is the Deluxe, you get the flying suit, you get the diorama base, the sticky bomb gun, and then you also get some different backdrops and base toppers. And then for the regular, you get some handcuffs, a few accessories that go on the belt, a folded and a non-folded Batarang, and a card from the film. I think these all look great, but I'm kind of annoyed that you only get the sticky bomb gun with the Deluxe sets, because it almost seems like without that gun, the holster, which is on his right hip, would be empty, unless I'm mistaken. Pricing, I think, is fairly reasonable. I think $300 is maybe just a touch too high for the basic version, but I love that, in my opinion, you don't really need these exclusive accessories to enjoy the figure as much, because you do get that portrait at the cheaper version. So for me, I think I'm not going to pre-order it yet, but I think I'm for sure going to get the regular, and definitely going to be thinking about the Deluxe. What about you, Dean?
I have not seen the movie. I do need a Batman though, but I like it. I think it looks great. I like the. It just feels kind of, all the bat suits like just seem very impractical to me. Especially like the '89 Batman or the one with the nipples. Bale's Batman was kind of close-ish to like what I could see someone like actually wearing if they were doing like vigilante work. But this design works so well with like a figure where you're like not afraid to pose it up and leave it like that way, because it's got like actual pants. The elbows aren't going to crack. Like it looks like something somebody would actually wear. So I think it's fucking cool. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know how much I really want this. I definitely would not get the Bat Signal one because that's just way too much. $500. That's a lot. But maybe just like the Deluxe or even the regular. It's I don't know. I got a lot of options, which is cool for the collector. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it. That's for sure.
Lane Kramer says some people getting the Ahsoka emails from Sideshow, so very cool there. Eddie, what do you think?
I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't like the unmasked portrait that much. I think it's a little off. I don't think it's super off. I don't know what I don't really like about it. It's just off. The hair I don't like because his hair is only clean when he's Bruce Wayne, really. Like when he's going to like an outing or something. So like when he takes the helmet off, it's super messy and greasy and sweaty. So I don't like that. But I guess you could use that for like a third party suit or something. So that's cool. Cause I'm not a big like unmasked portrait person anyway. Like I'll always use the helmet with a helmeted character. Very rarely would I ever use the unmasked portrait. So, and I think the helmeted is fine. I feel like maybe the eyes are a little wide open on the helmeted one. Something about the eyes throw it off. I feel like he was squinty a lot of the time. But then after rewatching it, there are some scenes where his eyes, like he does some weird eye things. He gets all crazy and stuff. So I don't know. But I think it looks good. I think the accessories are cool. I love the bat signal thing. And like they're doing it all out like that. And teasing vehicles and things like that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's cool that they're announcing the figure with the film, so hopefully we get it soon enough where the people are still hyped to get the figure. That's pretty cool. I know my brother's excited to get it, so I don't think I would get it. I don't think I want like that expensive of a representation of him in my collection. I do like the look in the suit of him, so I may end up getting the bike that you have and getting maybe like the Mezco release and then like using that as my representation for him because I do like the film and I do like the way he looked in the suit and everything. So I think that's where I'll go. But yeah,
I think it's a nice looking figure. I haven't watched the movie yet, but I'm based on the reviews that I've heard. I heard he did a great job. He's not my ideal Batman. I haven't seen him on the screen yet, but he's not my. When I look at Pattinson, I don't picture him as my ideal Batman, but based on what I've seen with promo shots, looks like they picked up the character really well. I think in this case, I think you really have to just go with the deluxe. That base and that bat signal, phenomenal companion pieces. I think that's awesome. $515. I think it's fair. I don't know. It's tough. I want to say I think it's fair because I remember purchasing the original Dark Knight bat signal, and then it had Gordon come with it as well. And I think I paid around $400 a few years ago. So considering the time difference, I think it's fair price. But accessories are cool. You get that wingsuit as well. I would have personally, before putting the bat signal out, I would have liked to see the bike. I would have liked to see him come with the bike. I haven't watched the movie. When are we going to get another Batman with the bike? Is another character going to possibly come with the bike? I don't know. I'd like to see the bike and the his Batmobile, personally.
I thought they did put up the bike because I saw the pictures.
Just teased it.
They have the. I believe they have the physical tease when they were in Hong Kong, but they haven't. Put it up
that's
yet.
what it was.
Yeah,
I would have liked to see him with the bike as opposed to the bat signal, but
I agree, John.
Yeah.
In a way, but
we'll have to see. I have to wait. I like I said,
you have to see the movie.
Exactly.
I think I can't really comment on it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, cool release.
Yeah, when I first saw the pictures of this suit, I think I was pretty off-put. I thought the gauntlets looked a little silly, and I just was not like a huge fan of the design overall. But over time, it's really grown on me, and after seeing the film, I think like this was a must-have figure for me. So this is one that I've already pre-ordered, which I normally wouldn't do, right? I'm a big fan of waiting, but I think with seeing like shipping prices go up on these larger sets, if I can lock in, a rate, like I got $5 shipping, no sales tax. So if I can lock in a rate now for something that I know for sure I'm going to get, yeah, that strategy could backfire, but had to go all in because it looks great. I have, two concerns, Zach, just like you, the hair. I think they have some room for improvement, and there's some other models out there that do look a lot better. So hopefully they fix that for the final product. And then the material for like the torso, it looks like it's just kind of an odd looking material to me. I don't know that it matches 1-to-1 what I saw on the screen. So overall, all in on this set, the obviously the Bat Signal set, and really looking forward to this. Waiting 2 years for this figure. So,
Did you get the exclusive Bat Signal set or just the Bat Signal?
the exclusive Bat, this one that's up here on the screen that comes with the figure
So-
and the Bat Signal.
Not the one that comes with the jumpsuit and everything?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Bat
it
Signal
does
one
come
comes with the jumpsuit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. So the Bat Signal one comes with everything, basically, besides the bike,
cool.
which I do want as well.
Yeah.
What do you think, CeeCee?
I think I'd echo what everyone else said about I could see liking that it comes with the Bat Signal if you're a completionist and you have the Dark Knight and you kind of have this envision of your display having the figure and the Bat Signal for each. But I can understand people thinking that we probably should have got the bike instead of this. And the portrait, there's something about the grease paint around his eyes I wish was a little darker. And echoing the hair, I think his hair looks closer to mine than it does what it looked like in the movie. Which is a little disconcerting. But I'm not, as much as I love the movie, I've never been a huge fan of this cowl, so I don't know if I'd ever get a figure of his design. There's something kind of like patchworky about the look of it that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I appreciate that they released this so early into the craze of the movie, though. I think that, like what Marco was saying, like, or Eddie rather, like, it's hopefully we'll get this soon while there's still hype around the movie and the franchise.
I always felt that the stitches in the helmet or the head or the cowl, whatever you want to call it, I always felt like they were supposed to imitate somewhat like the sutures in the skull. At least that's like, I felt like the helmet was very skull shaped. I will say with the deluxe accessories, the base, I really don't like the base. Is it a cool base? Sure, 100%. But this base isn't really anything iconic from the film. And honestly, it just looks like they took a Star Wars base and switched out the white LEDs for red and then added like a statue piece on the back. It doesn't look like... And I've only seen the movie once, so maybe this is like a thing from the film, but...
Isn't it from the jumpsuit scene?
I don't think there was red lights like that on the
Yeah, it's. I think it is from there.
I'll
but I don't
double
remember
check.
the
I'll
lights.
double check, but I don't personally see it. I will say I got to give them mad props on the Bat Signal. They showed a photo in the Bat Signal release. You know, I don't know how good it will actually work in hand, but they showed it like on the wall and it had that really nice bat silhouette. So I think that looks really well done. And there's a lot that I want to say about this. You see right there in the middle. But I think I'd be getting into spoiler territory if I do. So Thursday night we'll probably. I think you know what I want to say. But Thursday Thursday night at 9 we're gonna do 9 Central. We're gonna do a Batman spoiler talk, and I think then I'll really be able to give my full feelings about this figure because there's so much that I want to say that I really can't say. I do like though that the base, if you look there at the bottom right, you can kind of spin it. And you can have him displayed on top of the statue, and then you can also spin it and have it displayed with the red LEDs, which I think is really nice. I think Mark mentioned this might be the first $300 non-diecast figure. I want to say that's accurate. I don't know off the top of my head for sure.
Wow.
But I mean, I feel like you're getting purrs, you're getting 3 mouths, basically essentially 2 sculpts, and a pretty... I don't say amazing chunk of accessories, but a decent. I just think the thing that I can't get over is the fact that if you don't get the deluxe, you're essentially going to have an empty holster on your figure. And,
I thought that was for his grapple gun.
His grapple gun comes out of his...
It's out of his wrist. Yeah. I think what's supposed to
how's
be...
it pointing a gun right there at the bottom left?
Yeah, that's the grappling gun. This picture, or you can't see it, but the bottom left with the blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the grappling gun. It's it just like comes out of his hand, his wrist.
Like spring loaded.
Yeah, spring loaded. There you go. So
before we move
taxi
on,
driver.
Taxi? Yeah, there you go.
Before we move on from
the movie with the
hot
baby
toy,
that drives. Sorry.
I want to ask everybody, and Dean and John could still answer this. Though you just have to go off the trailer. But if they only did one other character in a hot toy from this movie, what would you want it to be?
Oof, that's a toughie. If I only had one, I would pick Catwoman. If I had two, I would pick the Drifter and Catwoman.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
I love the Drifter set. Honestly, it looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Who's the Drifter?
I don't even know who the Drifter is.
It's
just when he's wearing his
It's like
biking gear.
Yeah.
We'll get that third party regardless, though, right?
But you're right, Marco, because you would think all you need is a body and the motorcycle stuff. You just plop that portrait on there, and then you got a whole second display. So yeah, maybe it'd be like a cool $100 third party set.
I think mine's gonna be different than everybody's. So that's
I would
really.
Yeah.
I would say just because this comes with the bat signal, the Commissioner Gordon.
Wow.
I don't know how cool he is in the
piece of
movie,
shit
but
you
it
are,
would
dude.
make sense.
He's pretty sweet in the
How
movie.
dare you?
What'd you say, Eddie?
Nicolio.
That was
Nicolio's-
mine. That's
Oh,
who
was
I
it?
want.
Oh,
I
I'm
want
sorry.
Gordon. Yeah.
First
that-
off, Brenton says, any room for me to join the spoiler talk? Brenton, if you have seen the Batman,
absolutely
yes.
not.
If you have not, then no. Eddie Aero Maestro says, nice hat. Jesus, Dean's smoking. He's so riled up.
Eddie just did not skip a beat, dude. Absolutely not.
Wow.
Let's fucking clip that.
Dean, do you smoke after sex?
Who
Eddie
doesn't?
Aero Maestro
Who doesn't?
says, no, God damn it, that was an Austin Powers thing. Brenton says, why not Riddler? You got to see the movie, bro. You got to see
I
the
think
movie. Scott Bradley says definitely Catwoman. Sorry.
I think I'd want Mr. Freeze.
Wow.
Again with the
Piece of
spoilers, bro.
shit, man.
Stop.
We said Thursday.
Sorry.
Stop.
Spoiler talk.
Thursday is the spoiler chat, John. Jesus.
Mr. Freeze or Two-Face, either or.
Jesus
Christ.
I was
I'm
just
so sorry for John. being
impressed they
that way.
put nipples on Two-Face's suit. I was
They had
just-
to, they had to
Makes
give the
sense
people
for
what
the
they
character,
wanted.
right?
And one was charred too. One was charred too. It made no sense.
It was literally double-breasted.
No, that third one was a
Breasted
pepperoni.
with nipples.
It's cold down there.
Clip
you know.
that, dude.
But Eddie, to answer your
Swing.
question, though, I think Catwoman is the figure that I would need from this. Like, she stole the show for me.
Really?
You mean the movie?
Gunslinger says in-game Cap is a comparable figure, and it's $275, and this one has PERS. Yes. Also inflation since in-game Cap came out, so that's $25
that's
isn't
it.
too bad.
That's a good
Let
point
me-
because Boca
CeeCee?
Raton is like bone
CeeCee
dry, and
answer
that's
the
a
hot dog
$275 or $285.
Yeah.
That's
CeeCee.
fucking crazy. You get it. Zach, you made a good point. Like you could get a bunch of shit for the money. It's high, but like I said, compared to Bogaton, you get way more shit.
Sorry, Hugh.
CeeCee,
Yes.
who would you pick if Hot Toys made one other character from this movie?
I would echo Catwoman, and then second to that, I'd probably say Riddler, because I feel like as a character he doesn't get enough love. But if I were to choose between the two, absolutely, I would choose Catwoman because I think that I think they would just do an excellent job with their head sculpt. If I'm quite honest, too. I'd hope so anyway, and I feel like we need more representation.
I'm shocked that none of us said the Riddler. I think that would be cool. The Riddler.
She just
too.
said
She just said the Riddler.
the Riddler.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was addressing the
Wow,
chat. I'm
dude.
sorry.
Fucking
It's okay. We're all gonna have.
What a
We're all gonna have one
Wow.
moment.
CeeCee,
say,
what
I'm
about
surprised
Catwoman?
no one said the
I
How do you
seriously
like
thought you
Catwoman?
said.
I know, surprised no one said Catwoman. It was really strange.
Eddie, what about Commissioner Gordon?
Dude,
Just kidding.
I was gonna say Mr. Freeze, but then John fucked it up.
I'm sorry. I got a lot going on, guys. I'm so sorry.
I don't know. I like the trio: Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, and Ivy. I can't believe they showed up at the end. It was
I'm so
insane.
sorry. Okay, to be honest, let me explain myself.
Especially
what I
when they
got going
took
on.
Ivy and they started. Okay.
I was feeling bad because Brenton was feeling bad, and I was typing to him that he could join the show, and then I was like, let me check on the poll, and I was doing all that while our sweet, sweet angel, gift from God himself, CeeCee, was talking, and I.
So essentially, you
apologize.
weren't
That was
paying attention during the
inappropriate.
stream. Nice.
Okay, at least I'm not on Whatnot. Don't be fucking coming.
I'm
at me
not
with
on
that.
whatnot. All right.
Our poll, very surprising, Eddie. 79% said they would not pre-order the Batman.
Wow.
With 21 yes. That's shocking.
I wonder
love
if
to hear
it's.
it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because they don't want it or because they're
I
following
think it's
John's
because
rules.
they watched the 60 seconds
Perfect.
with John.
Oh,
I love it.
makes sense.
Now this was really cool. No pricing yet, but Jazz Inc. Posted their Batmobile. They've been posting work in progress for about a week and a half now. This one has obviously all the lights that you could ever want. I believe it does have a sound chip also, and then Yoast posted a video of smoke coming from the engine, so it has some sort of
Yeah,
special
yours
effects
posted
with
a
it.
lot.
I think this looks great. Some people in the group are complaining about the weathering, so he's offering it unweathered and weathered. The weathering does match the prop that
What
was
a
in the
guy,
film.
bro.
He has all the references now. There's not a price point yet for this. And as far as what he said on the group, that he was the only company making a 6-scale one, though I was a bit concerned to see it in the background of a Hot Toys photo. Doesn't necessarily mean they're also making it, but that is something to keep in mind. But this thing looks fucking incredible. He had access to all the files for this, so as far as humanly possible, I imagine this is as accurate as you can get, because he had, literally many references for this. So no word on the pricing yet. But
Arrow says 1,500
Yes.
with $100 deposit.
What the F?
If
I did
that's
not see that.
1,500, I don't know how
I
accurate
don't
that
think that's accurate, dude. Wasn't the Falcon like 1,000?
My
1,200?
Batmobile is 1,500, so I wouldn't.
But
be
when
surprised.
when it's the licensed DC stuff, the prices do go up just a little.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, so let me ask you this:
I'm gonna look
the
that up. right
bike starts off as a regular bike, and he turns it into the bat
now.
cycle.
No, that's a spoiler. That's,
you
why
said
would
it
ask?
when you were talking about your toy.
What the fuck are you talking about?
literally didn't
don't
say that at all.
fucking
Yes, you
spoil
did.
anything here. No, you didn't. I don't know what you're talking. I never heard
Yes,
of
I
you
said
anything.
there's.
did.
I
Is
said
that
there's
really
two
a
bikes.
spoiler, though?
I said there's 2 bikes. I said there's the drifter bike,
Jesus.
and there's another more Batman-esque bike. I didn't say he took the drifter and
I
put a
mean,
bunch of.
it's
Put
not,
your
that's
weed
not a
in it.
spoiler. I could defer that from watching a trailer or
If you want to know the answer, I'll private chat it to you right now. I'll message it to you. I'll message you right now.
Okay, my
thought you were
question
joking.
is, what did this car start off as in the movie? So
That's a spoiler, bro.
Okay,
We
that's a
can't
spoiler
fucking-
too.
What kind of a stupid question is that?
that's not a stupid question.
It's a
Started
stupid
off with a
question if
cat.
it's not a
Dean,
spoiler stream.
I'll message you the
It's
answer.
a car Batman owns. He turns into a Batman.
How do you know he owns it? It
You
could have
think
been
he
his
just bought
father's.
a
It could have been.
No, you're right. He went to the dealership. Was like, hey, can I get the Batmobile over there? Because I'm Batman, guys.
Well,
What
I
type
think-
of dumb motherfucker doesn't know where Batman gets
So
his
then, what
fucking
the
car?
fuck are you asking a stupid question if you know the answer
I
to
want to
already?
know what the car started off as. I
It
can't
started
tell
off
what
as
it
a
is.
fucking car. That's what it started off
What,
as.
a Camaro? A fucking Mustang?
It looks like a Challenger.
Charger?
The 20
It
minute
does
scene
not
with
look like
him
a
at the
Challenger.
dealership
Alright,
was a little
everyone-
bit unnecessary,
Wow.
but
Everyone,
A Challenger? What a piece.
Dean,
of shit
check
this
your
guy is.
messages, please, for the love of God. Stop trying to spoil Batman.
For the
people.
love of God,
and
man.
anyone else who wants to talk about this, please let me know. Don Maton says Spoiler City. Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
savage.
I'm sorry you had to be here for this.
Well, I understand what you're asking, where it's like, I think this is. I'm not addressing the Batman movie in this comment because I don't want to spoil things for people. But it's almost like Iron Man, where it's like Mark 1, Mark 2. Like, how many iterations of this do we see in the movie?
That's-
So therefore, you know which one you want to buy.
That's a spoiler.
No, I just mentioned Iron Man. I'm talking about Iron Man. I'm not talking about.
No,
this
I know,
movie.
but if we say there's different versions, that's a spoiler.
No, I'm
So-
not answering the question. I'm just saying that's a valid question to have before you purchase anything. Is if I haven't seen the movie yet, do I want to purchase this? Because I don't know how many, if any, there are iterations of this. Is this the only one we see? Do we see other ones? Do we see other
Understand.
versions? I think before you see the movie, that's an accurate question to ask yourself. Is do I really want to hit the button and pre-order this before I see the movie? In which case,
I would
there could be
say-
another version I'd prefer.
No
Don't
one
pre-order.
should pre-order anything without saying the movie one.
No one should pre-order in general unless there's a risk of
Especially for something
the
that's
item
$1,500.
Nobody should pre-order unless it's coming out of Hot Dog.
Okay, so I want to go back to this. Eddie said it's $1,500. I don't see it on their website, so I don't know where you're getting that number from.
I think it will be though, because
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable price.
and
but
mine
I'm
just lights
That's
up.
a
I don't even know if
reasonable
mine
price?
has sound.
the Hot Toys version, if they make one, might be $850 plus, right? Like,
Yeah.
the new
What's the
Tumbler was
Tumbler?
the new
Here's
Tumbler
the
was
thing, though.
$680.
but then
Here's
what's
the
the
thing.
DeLorean though, right?
The DeLorean
If
was $850.
Those those people that say like, "Oh, I'll wait till the Hot Toy, they're gonna do better, whatever." He goes the 9 yards that you want them to go with the Batmobile, though. Like, he will make sure the figure fits in there. He will make sure that it looks good, the way it's supposed to. Hot Toys is just they're gonna get that file, they're gonna print it, and they're gonna give it to you.
But you're willing to pay an
they're
extra
gonna
$600
detail
for
it.
that?
Yes, I am, because I want the best version of that item out there.
If it's
I
only a
want the sound,
$600
I
gap
want the-
too, it could be worth
Yeah.
it. I see your argument, Eddie. If it's like $1,000, maybe not. But
Look, I'm not saying if you want the cheaper one, go get. Yeah, by all means, go get the cheaper one, save money. But I'm saying that there's a reason to get this one.
And support small business, and he
Those
really
things.
listens to the character, like the customers rather. I think that's one of the, mind you, I don't collect Hot Toys, so therefore I'm not buying this anyway. But I've only heard the best things about his reception to constructive criticism and feedback. So I think I'd lean more towards Jazz Inc. than I would Hot Toys, for that reason alone.
Eddie Aero Maestro says, I will buy it, even the Hot Toys version, hashtag Deep Pockets Maestro. And then he said he also did confirm the pricing with Yoast. Ben Thomas said he's got to head out. How dare you, bro? Where's our blue wrench in the chat? We need Brenton to step up now. Anyone else have a take on this before we move on?
Ben Thomas has a wrench? What the fuck, man?
I like it.
I don't have a
All
wrench.
right.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
CeeCee, I'm going to give you a wrench for
Well,
it.
that's
Is
because
wrench
you're a
a
lady.
euphemism for something? Because in which case I do.
No, it's
I don't
the
actually want
What kind of
moderator
sexist
status.
ass comment did you say, Eddie?
she said I don't.
She
actually
said
want
she
it
does
if
that.
it's-
She made the same comment just later.
I don't know.
Carlito says, I have jazzing vehicles. They look nice, but I have issues for price and build quality. Go Hot Toys.
I've heard that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, in
Now,
their
this
first iterations of figures, but yeah.
This is the one that I'm getting. So this is the Hot Wheels 1/10 scale RC Batmobile. It's $100, releasing July 2022. This one has lights. Obviously, it's an RC car as well. No smoke effects. This is a carbon copy of their $500 version with a little less lighting, and it doesn't have the Batman figure that sits in the front seat and can do the steering wheel. So at $400 less, I'm definitely excited for this. At 1/10 scale, they say it should be able to seat other 6-inch Batman figures, which I would imagine would be like the Figuarts, the Mafex. But when I did the measurements and checked how those compared to the McFarlane figure, based on some of the photos of him standing next to the car, I actually think the McFarlane figure may fit in this. So either way, if it doesn't, I'll get the Figuarts or Mafex version. If it does, that's like a happy bonus. But this car looks pretty sweet, and it's I think it's fairly reasonably priced. And it's also an RC car, so that's kind of a fun little thing.
You said that's a $500 version?
The $500 version comes with the diorama stand. It comes with a 6-inch Batman figure that is removable from the front seat. It comes with lights throughout the interior for like the gauges, and then it I want to say that one has smoke effects also for the $500 version. This one does not.
Scale?
Same scale, yeah. But this one released way after the $500 one sold out, which I thought was kind of cheeky.
Oh, it sold out, the $500 one?
It did, yeah. I'm pulling up the $500 one right now. This is what the $500 one looked like, which looked pretty sweet, don't get me wrong. But it was also $500. This one had a little bit more weathering on it, too.
It looks...
How long did it take for it to sell out?
It sold out. I don't want to say it sold out quickly, but it definitely sold out before the movie came out.
Damn,
That's
I would
cool.
have bought that.
We talked about it on CW. You didn't.
I wasn't here that week, dude.
Oh man, I'm sorry, bro.
I was watching the Batman, bro.
Wait, no, that was like months ago.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about it on CW.
Fuck, man.
Anyways, anyone have a thought on this before we move on? No.
Are we going to talk any more
Tough
about the
crowd tonight?
Batmobile in general? Or is this kind of the time to give our thoughts?
I mean, now's the time, my guy. Spoiler free, now's the time.
Yeah, spoiler
Thursday
free.
is spoilers.
So just like the suit, I was really not like super sweet on the car. I kind of thought like, I thought it was just an okay design, but it's definitely grown on me. Like I think it's just a badass overall design, and I need some type of representation of it. So like Eddie was saying, there could be some different tiers, and depending on what you want, this could really be an affordable way to get some representation in there. But I think I'm holding off for whatever Hot Toys does.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat as him. We talked about it like way back before the movie came out. We were giving our thoughts on the trailer and everything, and I was like, it's cool, but it's just like a muscle car, like a racing derby car. Kind of reminds me of Death Race, if you guys seen those movies.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, as a Batmobile, I still feel that way. Like, it's just a derby car, but it's a badass derby car, and it's a loud, scary derby car.
When this
It's sick.
motherfucker goes on screen, dude, I want to do a backflip, bro.
Right. The sound design is incredible.
Dude, see it in RMAX or RPX, bro.
I was just really surprised when like bubbles came out of the muffler.
Yeah.
You know, like
Jesus,
like a
Christ.
clown car. I thought that was a really interesting part of the climax.
It was a nod to the Joker.
I would be really pissed if I bought the $500 version and then they released this afterwards.
Dude, I feel the same way. How dare they? How dare they? I'm glad I didn't, to be honest. I'd be kind of pissed. I mean, the $500 one does have a lot of bells and whistles, but I mean, it's also a Hot Wheels RC car. Like, I'm not really trying to spend $500,000 on that. Daniel Corona says it's supposed to be literally be a race car. They told the story in prequel novel released. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I like it. I think as a design, like when it shows up on screen, it's fucking awesome. Like, I think I really enjoyed it, and you know, if you're seeing it like in an RPX or an IMAX, like it's really quite special. I don't think. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen every single Batman film in theaters, but to me, this was like my favorite first appearance in the movie of a Batmobile. But your mileage may vary.
Do you like? Okay, everybody who thinks it's not the Batmobile, what's your favorite Batmobile? Because I think Benz was in Justice League was the best.
I hated that.
Only because it reminds me of the Arkham Knight. So like the Batmobile from there, which is really cool. So
Eddie,
that's
you might
why I
be
think
right.
it's
That
the
might
best.
be the best design, to be honest, man. It's just such a badass car from BB.
I just don't like the way it moves. It looks like a when he's going back to the Batcave after he fights Superman. It looks like a fucking roller coaster. It looks so stupid.
I'm an 89 guy.
89
Yeah, it's
Batmobile
classic,
is
yeah.
fucking cool.
That's beautiful. Fuck.
And I don't even like those movies.
CeeCee?
I'm a basic bitch for the Tumbler.
The Tumbler's so fucking cool.
The Tumbler
is
It's
badass.
great.
It's
I
so
like that it was
practical.
practical. Yeah, it was literally a tank and it looked like an actual tank. That's why I really it made the most sense. I know it wasn't the most like exciting release of a Batmobile because they showed like it was almost like we saw that it's start to finish, right? But no, I think that was probably my favorite one.
When you guys were all ranking the Batmobiles, I was like, I like all these motherfuckers. Like, they're all great in their own special way. But yeah, this one definitely is in the conversation of the top, but not quite ready to put it there just yet.
Tumblr was cool when he flipped it and then the Batpod popped out of it. That was
Dude,
so
holy
cool.
shit, dude.
Such
You're
a
like,
hype
oh, he's
moment.
out. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, man, good stuff, good stuff. Now, this was cool.
Oh boy.
I think we're going to spend a bit of time here. Queen Studios Collectibles. The next generation of 6-scale figures is coming soon by InArt. So that's the subset of Queen Studios. If you're a 1/6-scale collector, make sure you join our new Facebook group. It's InArt Figures. Well over 1,000 people joined the group. They put up this teaser. So from left to right, we got the Nazgul, Gandalf, Legolas, Heath Ledger Joker. We have Paul from Dune, and then Neo from Matrix Revelations, I think is what it's called. Resurrection, thank you. I think if you had to launch a line with 6 figures, this seems like a really random 6 figures to do it with. First and foremost, Asmus, I mean, it could have changed. Obviously, it's a new year, 2022. As far as I know, Asmus is still the license holder for the Lord of the Rings figures. They're actively working on a second Gandalf. A few months ago, they released I think it was the Helm's Deep Legolas, and they have a Nazgul on pre-order.
This one.
Og Toys is in progress with the license for the new Dune films, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then Hot Toys is actively in production on a lot of the Nolan trilogy figures. Haven't announced a Joker yet, so that could be open. But the thing that's interesting to me, Dean, is we say it a lot, right? Licenses can be split by region, by price point, by collectible type.
Right.
I imagine Queen Studios is in the same Asian market region. They're the same type of figure, from the same film, from the same character. I don't know if it's price point that is separating them, or if Queen Studios came in and snaked the license on all of these from the different companies, which could be a possibility. But
Maybe
I
that's
think
why Hot Toys was trying to get out all those Nolan Batmans all at once.
could be. I think it's interesting. I don't know that Hot Toys. Hot Toys is an established company. They're the top of the game. I think this is definitely something for them to be aware of. I don't know if it's anything to be super concerned about, because again, we don't know if these are $1,000 figures, if these are, super limited releases. And even just from this photo, I'm kind of annoyed that they got basically Gandalf in reverse. His sword is definitely not on that hip, and
I think he's holding it. Yeah?
Always like Ahsoka-ing it. But they promised a lot of really neat things. They said that these would exceed the quality of the prototype, which, I guess they could. They're also working alongside Viper Studios, which is the company that put out the incredible Gandalf the White. But granted, that was a $600, $700 unlicensed figure. So again, that's why I'm kind of concerned about this price point. But I just think as to launch a line with these 6 figures is just so random. I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dean?
Especially with the Lord of the Rings characters. Gandalf, okay, sure. Ring Wraith, yeah, you want a bad guy. And then Legolas of all people, why not Aragorn or
Frodo?
basically just
either of those
Aragorn.
other 2 characters?
Or it just those 3 seem odd as a pair. And then the next 3 is it's like, what? The Joker by himself, Neo by himself, Paul. Are we sure that's Paul? The hair looks terrible.
It does look terrible, but there's a video on I think it was like on their group, and it kind of flashes through each of the characters, and you can actually see detail in the portraits. It's definitely Paul.
Okay.
Like 100% is Paul. And they did like a comment when someone posted, like, oh, is it this 6? And they're like, they kind of put a smiling face. So
okay. I almost would have preferred if they had just done all Matrix characters, just because that movie is untouched, and I don't think that movie's great, but at least have a cohesive line. This is like a patchwork of random ass characters. I don't know. It just seems like an odd 6 to go with. But I'm excited to see how they turn out.
I see why they went with these. I think with Lord of the Rings, they chose those because I think they saw an untapped market there. Because I know there is a lot of fans of Asmus here, but I think a lot of people haven't jumped on those figures yet because of how bad they might be. So I think that's why they chose Lord of the Rings, and then they want to hit all the fandoms, right? And then obviously, I know we're tired of seeing Joker, Heath Ledger Joker, but he's the biggest fucking thing in DC movie-wise, so they're going to start with him. And then Paul is one of the biggest movies they released last year. They're going to do Dune, and then Matrix is a big license for them that they haven't done anything for yet other than the full life-size statue. So I think they wanted to get Neo out because he's also a big character in film. So I just don't think they should have done that Neo, but that's the one they decided to do. So I definitely see why they chose these characters. I also think the difference that separates them is maybe Asmus has the right to sell their figures here, and they might only be selling in Asia. They're not. I don't see these being available through distribution through a U.S.-based market. You're gonna have to get these through a third-party distributor. So that's what I think the difference is. But it's hard for me because I stopped collecting 1/6 stuff this year. So if they start off really strong and they're a good price point and I like the lines that they're doing, like Lord of the Rings, for instance. I haven't jumped in on anything because I don't really like anything that's out there for Lord of the Rings. So I'm very interested in that, at least,
Yeah, this is. So I think Eddie hit the nail on the head. I think distribution wise, it's going to be the same as their statues. Their statues are tough to get. Not I don't want to say legally, but through the proper channels, their stuff is tough to get. But this is fantastic news. How can you not be excited about this news? They chose these characters. Look, they got 3 companies on their toes now. All right, Asmus. Asmus is not even. You're not even able to compare the two. I think this release is great. I think Hot Toys is going to wake up. They're going to have to smarten up now, because this is good competition. This is healthy for the collecting community, the collecting world. Hot Toys has been here because there hasn't been anybody there to knock them off that pedestal. And I think this is great. The only thing about this is I don't think it's going to depend on the price point. We have to wait till they put their first figure to market, because I don't know if they're directly going to be competing with Hot Toys, or if they're going for that top high-end collector and competing with J&D, because J&D announced that they're going to be doing 6 scale figures as well. So that's what we have to wait and see.
Can I ask you a question, John?
Yeah.
If they are limited ESs like you want, and they are we know they're going to be high end. I don't think that's a question. But if they're limited ES and they are competing for that higher price point, like maybe 700 to 900, in that area, would you buy a 6 scale figure at that price?
Depending on the edition size, yes. Most definitely.
Wow.
Most definitely. Yeah. I won't sell my current collection, but I would consider. Now, the collection would be very tailored, that's for sure. It'd be characters that I would absolutely adore. But you're telling me a company like, for example, let's say J&D, even Queen produces some great content. A company like that, if they can provide us with a 6 scale replica of one of the statues that they do in that high quality, most definitely. People are paying it for custom 6 scale figures. I see on Instagram all the time, 700 to 900 for customs. So for me, this is great news. I just want to see how this is going to play out. Are they going to be a direct competitor with Hot Toys, or are they going for that elite collectible like J&D? I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole if it doesn't have an edition size. I'll tell you that right now. If they just put it out and like Hot Toys, no edition size, forget about it. I won't even. I won't even look.
It looks significantly better than a Hot Toy, but it's not exclusive.
Jesus Christ, Marco, you sound like a robot, bro.
Your mic, buddy.
If it looks,
if it's better than a Hot Toy, well, it could be better than a Hot Toy, but it has to be priced like a Hot Toy. You're not going to charge me $700 to $900 and not give me an edition size. That's how I feel about it.
If it did have an edition size,
and
they were $700 to $900, would you buy a 6 scale figure for that kind of?
Depending on the character and how it was executed, yes.
Any of these?
These?
The Lord of the Rings.
I think I'd go with a Gandalf. I think that would be. I'd go with the Gandalf just because I haven't seen to date even a statue that's been a phenomenal representation of Gandalf.
They could nail that Neo perfectly and sell it for $5, and I wouldn't buy that shit.
Well, that's fine, but
yeah, that movie was garbage.
I didn't even watch it yet, or even the Joker. Like if they do, they have a lot of potential here. If they play their cards right, they have a lot of potential here.
How does my audio sound now? Still sound
there
like shit?
There we go. Yeah, you sound fine.
Better.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just think that if they're going to enter this market, they would want to be competitively priced with Hot Toys, right? Like I think that if they're going to eat a market share, they're going to want to come in and directly compete with the top dog. Now maybe there is a niche for even more exclusive, even higher end 1/6 figures, but I would think if they want to be really successful, they're going to come in and be competitive in terms of pricing and quality. So that's just me assuming that. I'm very excited overall for, Hot Toys has kind of made some really goofy decisions recently. And so for them to, be on their toes, have a little pressure from other companies. And we know, some of the third parties were already chasing them. So yeah, I think this is a really positive thing for collectors overall. And I'm hoping that we get, even more figures. I hope this is really successful and even more companies are feeling bullish to enter the market. Zach, I do have a question for you in terms of the licensing though. We know for sure that these licenses couldn't be split, right? They are exclusive for territories.
I don't know that for sure. What I'm saying is there's many ways a license can be split from, people that we've talked to. And some of those ways are region, price point, figure type. So, for example, the Jurassic Park license for statues, it was a worldwide license. And then Universal decided to split it into region. And that's why Chronicle for a long time was importing the Iron Studios stuff, is because Iron Studios wasn't allowed to sell in North America. So they had to go through Chronicle and then eventually Sideshow to sell. So I don't know anything about these particular licenses. The images that I'm showing on screen are basically just to reference what I believe are the current license holders and why I think it's got to be like either a crazy price point or something weird. Like I was even saying on the Patreon chat, like, is there a chance these might be unlicensed? Which I don't think anyone really agreed with. But the fact that they weren't willing to answer that question, I thought was kind of odd. They're being very vague in the comment section of that post. Like people are asking them, are they actually figures? And they're saying, wait to see. Someone put that they want to see Star Wars figures, and they just put like got it. So they're being very vague, and they basically said that the regions that these will be distributed to will be shown when it's time for pre-order. So I imagine it would be some amount of time before we see those details.
Got it. Thank you.
CeeCee, what do you think?
I assume these would also be regionalized, and also the nuances with licensing is really, really odd. So, like, the reason why Funko Pops for like Marvel and Star Wars are bobbleheads is because they weren't licensed to create those figures, like Marvel figures, Star Wars figures. So they made them all bobbleheads so that they would still fit the parameters of their licensing. With like Star Wars helmets. So Anovos were lined, even like the premier fiberglass ones, because they were for costuming, whereas EFX they couldn't line them because those were strictly for display. So it wouldn't surprise me if these were not regionalized, like if it was kind of encroaching on Hot Toys territory, if it was something strange where they were freestanding and didn't come with a stand, or like they weren't as articulated as perhaps Hot Toys, just to say that they're able to make them as well. And also because they're regionalized, some people will even argue that they're not licensed because it's not in the US, which I think is bullshit. Like it's just like they could still have a license to create products, just not sell them in the United States. So just because you can, like, they're still licensed to create them at all, just because you have to jump through hoops to buy them, I think it's still considered a licensed product. But interesting nonetheless. I don't know, because haven't they done 1/6 scale statues
recently?
Yeah, so I don't know, them being cagey with them being figures. I don't think they would have announced something like this if it was a statue. So it's got to be a figure, and I imagine it's going to be jumping through a little bit of hoops just to get them. But they've put out great products so far that I've seen anyway. So I think any competitor to Hot Toys is a good thing.
I think for me, the things that they can improve on from Hot Toys, I know pricing's not going to be improved. I think, like John said, these are going to be very high-end collectibles, many hundreds of dollars. But I think communication with the collectors, I think, is important for them to improve. I think that's an area where Hot Toys sorely lacks. I think
not off to a great start.
I think having concrete release dates and really sticking to them. I know, obviously, we're in like year 3 of COVID, and I think no longer can you say, oh, well, it's a COVID delay when companies like Toddy Mac are smashing it out of the park. So I think communication and accurate estimates of release are very important. And I think, John, you're very hopeful that you're going to see a numbered limited collectible.
Yeah, numbered limited collectible. Queen Studios, so far, I haven't purchased anything from them, but we can see it through our channel. Their customer service is great. Their involvement with the community is great. We saw with James at the WonderCon. They spent how long with us? Walked us through the entire...
Shout out to Naughty Boy Bill.
Yeah, the entire thing. He's on our Collecting Weekly Auxiliary Facebook page. Bill, and I'm not worried about their customer service at all. But yeah, high end and limited, please, so I can stop whining about reissues.
Wow. Anyone else have anything that that you think they can improve on from what Hot Toys is offering?
I think it would do with communication, but constant updated progress on what they're working on. I really like when you see updates and sculpts and materials and things, and we decided to switch this to that, and I like updates.
Would you expect that, Eddie, if they can't distribute in the United States?
Yeah, because they could still update through their Facebook page or through their social medias. They don't have to you know what I mean? They don't have to. Doesn't have to do with them being in the United States to do that.
I mean, they have their own private Facebook group now, so they can communicate with us through there.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So, Marco, I know this is pretty exciting for you. This is the Scorpion 1/6 scale figure from Storm Collectibles. This one comes in at $235, releasing Q3 2022. I think this looks absolutely awesome. I think the outfit looks great. I think the musculature looks really good. I said it last week, I'll say it again. I am a fan of the use of joints here for a figure that's going to be doing some crazy ass poses 99.9% of the time. And I think this is great. You get some flame effects, you get two different swords, you get the get over here, I don't know what you call this, the dagger with the chain, and some great shuriken. There you go. You get some great hands for posing as well. And the paint, I mean, this paintwork looks excellent. So I'm very excited to see the Sub-Zero from this line, and then also just, kind of how deep they're going to go with it. And I think 235, we were saying last week, maybe in the 180, 200 range. So it's a little higher than I was thinking, but I definitely think this is not a bad start for Storm to get back into 1/6 scale.
It's called a kunai, by the way. Kunai, not a shuriken. I had to look it up. I was like, that's wrong. This is fucking cool, man. I'm super tempted to order this. Maybe not like right away, but soon. I like it. Like I said, I grew up playing Mortal Kombat. Storm Collectibles stuff, when it sells out, goes like stupid, crazy expensive. So I feel like if you want this, you gotta get it as soon as possible. So that's kind of why I'm like, should I pre-order it? Because usually I don't pre-order, like with Hot Toys, because they're gonna be available usually. It's very rare that they'll actually go waitlisted. But I don't know what Storm Collectibles is like. Like is it like Mezco where they sell out in minutes? Is it like maybe like a week or two they'll sell out? I don't know. So
unless it's an exclusive, Dean, they usually stay in stock. Like if it's on Big Bad as just a regular release, you'll be able to get it until it releases. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I like it a lot.
CeeCee?
Not my jam. Just not.
Wow.
Not my jam. I mean, it looks cool for anyone who's into Mortal Kombat and also figures, but this is like a double whammy for me because it's two things I'm not a collector of. So.
I don't love their joints in 1/6 scale. I don't love their joints in 1/12 scale. So it sucks because now you guys may disagree, and I'm sure people will, but like they have figures now that have fully covered arm joints. Like they have their own way of doing that. And I feel like they could have done it here, or give an option for people who want the joints. I don't care. I think it should have been an option because I think their joints are really ugly. And like
swap out arms.
Yeah, I think it could have been a good idea. And I also like. Oh, go ahead.
Storm was really, I don't say infamous, but their Tyson and their Ali, they had it was like the arms were, I believe if I remember correctly, they were like swap out at the shoulders, so it wasn't fully seamless, but they had nasty ripping issues, like to the point where Like that's kind of what their company was synonymous for, and that's why I'm always cautious for like expressive characters that you really want to have fighting, for them to have that. Like, you know, most people that I know that own those figures, you know, they're pretty much trash. So I don't know if this is like a response to that in the past. Like they just didn't want to deal with it again. Because I mean, there were some beautiful figures. I mean, that Tyson was like bananas, and the fact that like it kind of became known as like, and if I remember correctly, they did send people replacement bodies or replacement arms, but even then, it's like just keep them straight, you know, keep them in a museum pose. So,
and I guess
that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I didn't know that about the 1/6 stuff. And I don't have any of the 112 stuff with the rubber arms or however they do them now, so I couldn't say whether or not those work well. But 6 scale reviews, I don't know if that's Dan or Dre, but they said you could just do a body swap. Maybe you could. I feel like that armband is fixed. The armbands are fixed there though, so I don't know if you would have to find like a new way to do that. But yeah, you could always do a body swap, I guess. I don't think there's enough accessories or like even a display base or like some kind of flying like arm or whatever to like the price is too high, I think, for the accessories that you get. It's especially because it's not really like a high end figure. It's just Storm collectibles. So I don't know. I feel like that's pricey for this, like really pricey. So,
yeah, Eddie made a good point about the armbands. Because it's not on a generic body. It's on a Storm Collectibles body. So the neck peg's probably going to be different. The ankle pegs are probably going to be different. To do a body swap on this, you're probably going to have to completely, like,
the feet too, right? They probably
that's what I'm
have
saying, like the ankle and the feet are gonna. You're gonna have to complete like Dremel and do all kinds of shit to get this to work. Keep that in mind. It's not like a 3-0 where it's like, oh, pretty much a Hot Toy body will work or whatever. But I guess like if you're going that route, you probably don't really give a shit about the armbands. They probably are glued on. You just rip them off. But yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm pretty annoyed right now because I came into the show prepared to argue with Eddie, and I've been agreeing with his ass all show long.
God, why
pissed off right now?
I was gunning for you, bro.
I was ready, man. I got hyped myself up.
How dare you?
You know, so your point on the joints, like I absolutely hate the joints on the arms. It just doesn't look good to me there. And I think the price is a little bit too high for what you're getting. That being said, like I think I need this. It just looks beautiful. Zach, as you said, like I was calling for, you know, a Sub-Zero and a Scorpion figure. I think they're just like perfect in figure format. They like need to be figures. And after seeing the movie, which I know a lot of people didn't like, I personally enjoyed a lot. I was like, why is no company, you know, diving after this license? So yeah, I think I do need this. And you know, some of the pictures, I think there's one where he's holding the, is it what was the term again, Dean?
Kinao. Something like
there
that.
You go, something like that.
Kunai.
He's like
Kunai,
holding it. So I think you could obscure the joints to a point where the figure would look really, you know, artistic and still look great. So yeah, I think so. Zach, I have a question for you though. Are these normally distributed in North America?
I know what you're fucking gonna say.
You don't know what I was gonna say.
I know what you. I'll fucking message you right now.
Is it his left hand, Eddie? Is that what you're?
It's a strong hand. No, that's not what I was gonna say.
I'll message you right now, Eddie. Yeah, Storm Collectibles. Stevens Collectibles is able to get Storm Collectibles. Granted, he gets the 1/12 scale stuff, but it you know, it could be different with the 1/6, but I don't think so. Okay. Dark Spartan says this isn't the first 1/6 scale Storm Mortal Kombat. I have the old ones, and the bodies are a real pain to kit bash. I have the Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang. They came with awesome beheaded sculpt and one with a huge gash in his head. Gigi says, you know, in a relationship, there are things that are deal breakers and things that you can work with. I can work with this because it's so badass.
You know, Gigi actually plays Mortal Kombat with me, so like she fucks with Mortal Kombat big time.
What an absolute angel. I think John stepped away for a bit, so we'll skip on.
Zach, that's not what I was going to say. I was actually going to say The joints make his arms look skinnier than our new Batman. But
wow, how dare you? I thought I was on the nose there. S Kings SKS005. This is the Miles Morales PS5/4 portrait. $48, releasing June 2022. I think it looks okay. I don't think it looks great. I think it looks a little too like bird-like, kind of tapers to the front a bit for me. But for $48, and this being the only portrait option that you have other than maybe the Super MC toys like Thomas did on Pose Wars, I don't know. I want to say I like it, but the longer, because I saw this Saturday with Joan on his show and I was all about it, and then the more that I looked at this photo in our show sheet chat, the less I liked it. And I think at this point it's just like a solid no for me, even at $48. It's nowhere good as the Lim Toys PS4 Peter Parker portrait, which I think was an absolute like a rip from the screen.
Yeah, I think for $48, it's a decent representation of the game model. I don't dislike it. I mean, I don't even own the figure, so I obviously wouldn't get it, but I could see why somebody would want to get it. And yeah, I agree. The PS4 Peter Parker one was amazing. And then they went ahead and changed what he looks like for no reason. But yeah, this I think it's decent. I mean, it's $48, you know. I've seen head sculpts sell for like 90 that aren't as good, so.
CeeCee, when you're next, you're
Sorry, I muted the second someone unmuted me too, so I muted myself. Yeah.
Wow.
It happens.
Yeah, I think this doesn't look bad for the price. As someone who doesn't collect figures, I think it's like I echo what Dean just said about we've seen like higher priced head sculpts that looked a lot worse than this. So I think there's probably a bunch of people who'd be happy to have this at that price point.
I don't like it at all. It looks overscaled to the body. Head looks fucking huge, and he looks like Cyborg. So that's trash.
Oh my god, dude.
He really does.
Now it's like the best Cyborg sculpt we've seen.
Jesus, Eddie, I think you might be onto something.
Yeah, that was going to be my point again. Damn it, Eddie. He looks like 10 years too old here. At least 10 years too old. Yeah, this doesn't look good at all to me. Hard pass. And really, I must say, it was a missed opportunity for Hot Toys to include any of these sculpts with their video game figures. Like, it should have come with a Miles sculpt. The figure would have been a must get for me at that point.
It really does look like Ray Fisher. Jesus Christ.
I was going to originally say to buy the figure, rip off the portrait, and throw the body in the garbage. Now I'm going to say just buy the figure, throw the whole thing in the garbage, because Eddie just killed it for me. So sorry about that.
I'm pulling up some stuff right now. Go ahead.
It's just the head, though, right?
Yeah, it's just the head.
Look,
Yeah, but the body, that body's...
You didn't like? I love that Hot Toys.
The
I
Hot
think
Toys-
that's an amazing Hot Toy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that material's not going anywhere.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, that's pretty good.
I'm not talking about the Hot Toys one. I'm talking about this one.
That is
This
the
is a
Hot
Hot
Toys.
That
Toy.
is Hot Toys.
This is Hot
The
Toys?
only, yeah,
Yes.
the only thing we're talking about is the head.
It's the
It's a
portrait.
third-party head.
Oh, so they took so that's a Hot Toys body?
Jesus, John. Yeah, they're just
Holy
showing you what it
shit,
looks like
you
on your
knew?
figure.
Is this, hold on a second. Is this why are they showing it on a Hot Toys body?
Because that's what it's for.
Well, they
Yes.
wouldn't show it on a sideshow,
Yeah, but is that
Mando
allowed?
figure. It's a man. Well, I mean,
Are they allowed to make
is
it?
the creation of the portrait allowed?
Well,
No.
then whatever. I thought that was the whole body. They're doing the whole figure. So I don't pay attention to the third party
This is my reaction to everything that John just
crapola.
Fuck it though, bro. It's your life.
Who was the first person to say Obama? Because it does look like a young Obama.
said. KJ Smith, I believe.
Let me be clear. The sculpt is not of me.
Is this a Hot Toys body too?
No, it's a
This is the
Fison.
It's a hot
Game
body.
Toys Tifa. Dude, she's stacked.
Tifa my money.
Bro.
Jesus.
That was flipping good.
Well,
Tifa, my money doesn't even make sense.
Forget it.
He didn't even bother explaining. Yo, bro, I keep tip on my desk, bro.
I thought you were gonna say dig, bro. 100%.
Whoa, hey.
I thought you were gonna say it
Dude,
100%.
show Tifa some respect, my guy.
Sorry, CeeCee.
This looks incredible. I was gonna buy the third-party one the other day, and then they teased the head sculpt, and now they're teasing the outfit. And my God, I cannot wait to get this figure. They haven't announced any pricing or like release date. It might not even ever come out, but I mean they keep updating it.
Fingers crossed.
Bro, this looks insanely good. Tifa's just one of those like. I mean, Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game ever. So like any of those characters are just so like must-haves for me. So this looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait. Hopefully it comes to fruition.
She kind of looks like a Gelfling in the left photo, like from Dark Crystal.
A what?
A Gelfling?
From Dark
A
Crystal.
Gelfling.
Gelfling? I'm sorry, I don't watch that movie every day.
God, a Gelfling?
I knew what Zach meant.
Boo this man.
I would have called it that too.
I'll be honest. I'm
just being a dick.
At least she doesn't look like a skeg, CeeCee.
Jesus, Dean's gonna give his essence to this figure.
Bro.
That's a good one.
Depending on what body they use.
Wow.
Dude, Game Toys is a fucking phenomenal
dude, they're banging out
company to do figures, so I'm sure this shit'll be dope as fuck. I do wish that it was colder there, but
wow.
That's cool.
maybe not
Feeling
as
a little
dope.
Denobi tonight, you know.
Wow. Maybe not as dope, but Hot Toys Birds of Prey Harley Quinn released this week in Hong Kong. And I'll be honest, I hate everything about this. I haven't seen the movie, so maybe this is a great
Unboo
film
this man.
that deserves a character, but
no, this is utter garbage. Show
I've
this
never
shit in
been
the
so
trash.
unenthused to see a released Hot Toys before.
Yeah, this is. I don't like anything about this figure at all. The movie was not good. The outfit, like, there's like other outfits in the movie. I think they did other outfits actually.
Yeah, they have
So
the
those
caution
are-
tape one as well.
Yeah, those are yet to come out, so I guess it's fine. But dear God, this one's so bad. I don't like it.
You know what's a good thing about this figure, though? A
You don't
really
have
good
to
thing?
buy it.
That they can reuse those arms for the Pattinson Batman.
Oh my
Fucking amazing.
You're not wrong.
Spoilers.
So spoilers.
Such a big
Zach,
Why
are we
you
going to
so
talk about?
mean?
Because people love it and I want to be a dick.
Wait, CeeCee, get your. What do you think about this one?
I think it's awful, and I fell asleep during the movie. So
Wow.
even you, McGregor, couldn't save it from me. So
Wow, that's
I'll watch it one
low,
day.
low
But
praise.
I
No,
own this
yeah.
figure, or I own this movie, and I have not watched it yet.
It's
Someone gave it to me
so
for free.
All right.
Bad, dude.
Couldn't make
Free
it all
was,
the way
you paid
through.
too much for it if it was free.
Yeah.
I thought the jail scene or the what's the word? When she goes in there with the grenade launcher and she's shooting them with all the fucking
Oh, yeah, that one wasn't that.
I thought that scene was good.
Dude, there's a scene in this movie, and it's gonna be a spoiler, but it doesn't really matter because this movie's garbage. But they're trying to catch up to Hugh McGregor. He's like in a car, and she's got rollerblades. She has is rollerblades on, and then the chick that screams, just like screams at her, and she goes flying.
Can I ask this comment?
It's so
really quick?
fucking funny and stupid at the same time.
Daniel, I am not Batman. So, no, I'm not swole, but Batman should be.
Oh my God.
I don't want no chopstick
fat
Batman.
man.
Eddie, to address
Hey!
your skinny
That
Batman
felt
point though.
hurtful, dude.
It's
That
okay,
could
dude.
have-
You're,
We were
I'm
all
fucking fatter
some
than you,
good
bro.
fun. You're a
fucking
liar,
fatter than
bro.
you.
Now you're backstepping.
No, I've seen you drop. I've seen you step on the scale. I'm like, God damn, Eddie's slim now.
So non-spoiler though, but to address your skinny Batman thing, there's certain ways where they shot him. They could have just not shot him like that, but it's almost like they were like showing us, like, look how fucking skinny this guy is.
know.
It's
Wasn't
like
that skinny.
intentional.
He's fucking buffer than all of us, too.
There was
Yeah,
a
but it
specific
depends.
scene
It also
we'll talk
I
depends.
would argue that I could bench more than him.
It all
I'm
depends
serious.
to
Zero chance.
it all depends too on what stage that storyline is in his adventure as Batman as well. We won't get into it, but depending
I
on
think
how
it's
many years
intentional,
he's
John.
been Batman or whatnot.
Yeah, maybe like his sheer will and like determination makes up for the fact that he isn't swole.
Like he can become swole afterwards.
Like he's just
Oh,
so
try hard.
fucking.
I'm so excited for you to watch the movie. It's so fucking good. You know what's also so fucking good, John? Our sponsor.
Our sponsor, yeah. We want to thank our friends over at 1-6 Corner. Just give me one quick second here while we.
I didn't fuck it up this time. I feel so good.
1-6 Corner, yeah. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great prices, great packaging, fast shipping, best in the business customer service. Collecting Weekly listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live. Make sure you use code CW10, that's capital CW10. Choose your figures, pay safely with PayPal, and leave the rest to them.
So there's just two bits of miscellaneous figure news I wanted to touch on. The first is by Blitzwave. Notice of order restriction. We're sorry to inform you that we have to restrict orders due to the drastic increase in shipping fees because of the pandemic. We are no longer sending products overseas except for some Asian regions. We're trying our best to find ways to deliver goods at the cheapest rate as possible as we can for our clients. Until the shipping cost is stable, we recommend you to purchase our products from your local dealer. If you cannot find any appropriate dealer, please contact csteam@blitzway.com and we will find a way. I believe this was in reference to, it was posted after, rather, the Ecto 1 went live. I think the shipping would have been insanely cost prohibitive on that, and so they want you to go through your regional dealers. Let's blow through that, though, because we got prints to talk about. Sideshow put up a post on their website, order delays and intent to keep order. While Sideshow's intention is to share the most accurate and up-to-date information we have with regard to pre-order items, expected arrival dates are subject to change. Delays, while unfortunate, do happen on occasion. Sideshow has implemented some changes in how we respond to product delays. If a pre-order item experiences a delay, collectors must express their intent to keep their order open. Otherwise, we are required to cancel the order approximately 30 days following the delay. To make this process as streamlined as possible for our collectors, we've made some modifications to the checkout process and order details section of your online Sideshow account. On the final review at checkout, you may notice a new checkbox located above the Place Your Order button. Checking this box registers your intent to keep the order open in the event of a delay. You will still receive an email notification to let you know when an item has experienced a delay. However, you will not need to take any action to let us know you wish to protect your order. So long as you check this box at the time of checkout, confirmation is only required once per order. With that being said, if you choose to cancel your order through the online account for any reason after it has been delayed, you will receive a full refund, including any deposits processed to reserve the product. So this is basically formalizing the whole thing with getting NRDs back if there is a delay greater than, I think it was 3 months at the time. Now I think it's 30 days, which is interesting. But I think it's more interesting that when you're buying a figure and paying money, that you have to tell them you do want it, like you actually want it, and that they are required to cancel the order 30 days following the delay. I think those two are very interesting statements, and I think in practice it's going to get quite messy. I have figures on order with Sideshow, and I never log into my account, so I don't know if at some point those might be canceled for me. It's kind of one of those set it and forget it kind of things. So I'm interested in this. It's such a weird announcement to make. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no real opinion on it. It's just kind of annoying. Yeah, I don't know.
In what way is it annoying?
So if you cancel, maybe I misheard you. If you cancel your order, they have 30 days to do it?
No. So let's say I'm buying the Hot Toys patents in Batman, right?
Okay.
April to September 2022. And I assume what this message means is if the figure's not out by 30 days from September 2022, the order will be canceled unless I let them know that I intend to keep the order.
Oh,
now
that's
going
even
forward,
more annoying.
Going forward, let's say I place an order today. When I do the checkout, I'll have an option to confirm that I want to protect my order from cancellation.
Oh, okay.
So on prior orders, that's what I'm a bit confused about.
What was that?
So I don't really understand how all this stuff works, and I don't really understand the reason why they have to cancel it. I don't know if they're just trying to get more waitlisted people in.
Is it a way they're trying to keep your money?
Because that's right. For
no,
forfeit
there's
the right to get your NRD back.
No. So in any case, they say at the last part, if you choose to cancel your order through your online account for any reason after it's been delayed, you'll receive a full refund. So I think you'll get your refund back. They just saying they have to they're required to cancel the order. I don't understand why.
Yeah, because even now, if a figure gets delayed and then you cancel it, you still get your money back. Because you agreed to a certain release date, and if it gets pushed back, you still get your NRD no matter what.
I think this is to help out those waitlisted people. I think that's the only thing that this is going to really affect. And I ordered something tonight through Sideshow, and so I had to check the box that this is basically just guaranteeing my place. I think that maybe they just saw an influx of people who were waiting till the 11th hour to just cancel their pre-orders and get their NRDs back. And therefore they still had tons of people on wait lists that were kind of getting shafted for that reason. So I think it kind of just puts like a fire under people where it's like, shit, or get off the pot. Like, do you want to keep this?
Okay.
Or do you plan on getting rid of it because it was delayed? I could see it being annoying for people who don't pay attention to the things that they pre-order or have like a list, like a spreadsheet or anything like that. But I don't think it would. I'm not salty about it because I don't think it'll affect me at all.
Do you think they will send out emails?
I hope
so.
to ask that.
Because there's been times where there's been important things they haven't. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Eddie, imagine you've been 11 payments in on a figure or a statue, and then it's 30 days late, and you lose it because you didn't get an email, and you can't get it back because either the one per order thing that's triggered, or because it's on waitlist now and you have to wait, try to get back in.
Yeah, that would be frustrating. So
that's really annoying. I mean, all you have to do is check a box, but the fact that I even have to do that is very annoying. But I see what CeeCee was saying, where it's people kind of just jump on there, and then at the last minute they're like, "Oh, that's really not that important of a figure. I'll just cancel my order." And then, so like I get it, but it's also like, I guess it's mildly inconvenient and very annoying. But I still stand by it's very annoying, even though I misunderstood it. That's somehow worse.
Wow. Let's move on to our main segment of the night. CeeCee, the sweet angel, has a print presentation, and I'll let you take it from here, and we can, I guess, ask questions if we have them.
Yeah, it's gonna feel weird not driving the presentation, so if I fuck that up, I apologize.
Full disclosure, we did try to make that happen, but it was like a rave PowerPoint. I don't know what happened, but
yeah,
bad.
It was flickering and stuff.
I don't know if you know this. You misspelled hot. I just wanted to let you know that really quick before we go.
So
Eddie, you're kidding, right?
And we're moving on. This is an abridged version of my first Hoth Off the Press show. So this is going to be like an overview of, I'm going to discuss mostly the different variants of art prints because I know it's been confusing as fuck for a lot of people. So, and then also we're going to talk about the Batman prints that have released so far. So next slide. Just talking about some terminology. So you might hear the word commission thrown around with some art prints because some art prints generate from commission. So it could start out as a private commission that, someone will pay an artist to do a certain piece, and then with the original art comes an edition size of a limited number of art prints. So sometimes those art prints leak out into the public, or of course we get companies like Disney, Star Wars, who commission artists to make large print runs. Screen prints are the most common type, I think, of art print. That would be that or a giclée print. But a screen print, if you've ever seen a t-shirt be made at like a county fair, it's a very similar process. So with screen prints, you're limited on the amount of different colors, like the number of colors that you could use. So that's typically the easiest way to look at a print and decide real quickly if you think it's a screen print or a giclée. A variant is basically just like a special edition or different type of screen print typically. A giclée is just a glorified inkjet print, but just a higher quality than what you would expect to get at like a home printer. And then a lithograph is kind of like, it's a weird process where they use either stone or metal block to transfer an image that's put directly onto that block onto paper. But those aren't as common as, say, giclées or screen prints. And then you'll hear it oftentimes with limited edition, like sold out prints. You'll hear the word artist proof or printer's proof. So oftentimes when an art print sells out, the artist will typically have an allotment of what they call artist proofs that they'll sell by themselves, or they'll give to a gallery to sell at a later time. So if you do get if you see like a Mondo drop or a bottleneck drop and it sells really quickly, there's still a chance that the artist will sell their allotment of artist proofs. They just won't be numbered. They will say AP, or if it's a printer proof, basically almost like a draft that the artist or the printer received before they went through with the final run. It'll say PP in the corner. Next slide.
I'm not mature enough to not laugh at that.
I know. I was waiting for it.
Real quick, shout out to Adon in the chat. The butterfly effect, baby.
So then the different types of variants. So I'm going to talk about foils, lenticulars, glow-in-the-dark variants, and then the ones that are either changes in colorway or saturation or different versions of variants. So the first one is foil. So the confusing thing about foil is an artist or a gallery can say that a print is foil, and that either typically means that it includes elements of metallic ink or a foil pearlescent mirror finish, perhaps paper. So the one on the left is metallic ink. So I have that one. It's Dark Side by Melvin Mago. I love it. So that has those elements that you can kind of see flashing in the back are the only parts of the print that have a metallic ink to them, versus the Darth Chocolate, which is on the right, which is a what they call a rainbow foil paper that it's printed on. And then this is lenticular. So that one that is on the left just released and sold out pretty quickly. I think it sold out in about 20 minutes or so, or less than that, from what I was able to see when it went live. But the lenticular is kind of like, if you've ever had those binders from the 90s that have, like, if you scratch your hand over them or a nail, it sounds kind of like you're like scratching a record. It basically has like almost like a vinyl texture to it to give you this kind of like 3D effect. And I think they've been kind of a craze of the last, I'd say 2 or 3 years. But these were two that were pretty popular, two different versions. They tend to be pretty pricey though. That boarding party, I think, was $200. And I think they're both limited to about 150 to 200 pieces. Next slide.
On the lenticulars, or
Yeah.
like, and then the foil also,
Mhm.
like I've only had one high quality print, and it was a Mondo Into the Spider-Verse, and it was just kind of like shipped like I would imagine any poster would be.
Mhm.
But for the lenticulars and the foil, can they wrap them up into like a poster tube, or do those have to be shipped flat?
Yeah, so the foil, there should be no change in how they ship it because it's essentially still paper, regardless of if it's a mirror finish. So the one thing you'll notice about like mirror finish foils, like maybe that Darth Chocolate, I don't own that one to know, but the paper tends to be on the thinner side. So when you take it out of the poster tube, it lays flat, like flat as a board. You typically don't have to like put pressure on it to flatten it, which I think is very interesting. I only have one of those that's like that. But the lenticulars, those are not something that you could fold, so they tend to be boxed up, almost like you're just getting like a 24 by 36 board essentially that's in a box. So you're right; those aren't going to be something like in a poster tube. And lenticulars are also something that people tend to display with a light box, because they have some translucency to them. So Mike Costa, if you know, over at Rogue 16 and also the Sithcast with PJ, he has, now he's the proud owner of 2 lenticulars that he has with light boxes. Glow in the Dark. This is one that I included for Brenton because he's a Doctor Strange fan, and we briefly talked about him wanting Doctor Strange prints. I also want a Doctor Strange print, but all the ones I like tend to be on the larger side. So this is one that came out when the movie released by Matt Ferguson, and it was a Glow in the Dark. So this one was the regular edition, but Glow in the Dark is something that you would also see sometimes with a variant edition where the regular could be just solid, and then the variant could have a layer of glow in the dark ink put on top of it. Yeah, not much for these. And then I had to include this one just as a flex because this is one of my favorites. So in this instance, the regular actually did have the glow in the dark ink, and then the variant is the one that's got that yellowy kind of amber tones to it. This one was that variant was pretty limited. It was one of 65 when it released, but I own both of these, and they're one of my favorite works of art. Especially that glow in the dark effect. I tend to find it's very kitschy with art prints, but if it makes sense to the context of the art, I think it works. And I think in this instance, it really works with this art print. So this is one that kind of pisses people off, myself included, sometimes when it comes to variants where it's just a subtle, very subtle change in saturation. So in this one, the regular is on the left and the variant is on the right. So the variant looks a little cooler toned. I will say with people who do get frustrated with these, as far as like the really subtle nuances to the variants and thinking that they're kind of just a cash grab, I'm inclined to agree. The only thing that I could say to make people maybe feel a little better is that the variants, while they will be typically more limited than the regular edition, I've heard more often than not from the artists that make these prints that they prefer the regular edition, and that's why that is the regular edition, if that makes sense. So I think that just makes sense that they choose the one that aesthetically looks the best to be the one that's more available to the public. Like the one behind me, this like black and white with pops of color. This is a variant. It was still limited, but it was a big edition size. It was one of, I want to say, 800. The regular was a timed edition of, I think, 2200. So if that tells you anything, the artist chose specifically for that to be the best iteration of the work, and so therefore that one was the one that was made available more widely to the public versus the one I've got. And I included this for Zach. So this is another one that I really love, but I actually don't own. So this is Clever Girl by Foley. So the regular is going to be the color one, and then the variant. This is another type of variant that we see often, like again, the one behind me, where it tends to be grayscale, and then with little iterations of pops of color or just black and white in general. But I think with this one, it worked really well. Actually, I just realized that you could kind of see the T-Rex behind me. So that's the first one he did. And then I think this was the second one that he released in 2020. But he finished the run recently with another one. But this is a type of variant that we've seen pop up in the last 3 or 4 years that's been quite popular. It's kind of grayscale. I actually have decided to collect an entire like series of black and white art because that type of variant style is so popular. This is one that's a little these are the kind of variants I prefer to see, kind of like the Killing Joke, where if you're going to do a variant, you might as well go balls to the wall and make it look like an entirely different piece of art. So this is Kevin Wilson's Batman Begins. So the top one, the Blue Flower edition, is the regular edition, and then the one on the bottom is the one I have. It's the variant. He called it the League of Shadows variant. And I don't know if you could tell, but in the variant, the League of Shadows, like the building is on fire. And so there is, besides the colorway and the style of art, there is a change to the actual art itself, and that's not something we see very often with variants. So as soon as I saw this was available as an artist proof from the artist directly, so I didn't have to pay like aftermarket prices for it, I jumped on it. I thought this was a good example of how you should probably do variants more often than anything else. And then this is one that you don't. Yeah, the Batman Begins one.
It's fucking awesome.
And I debated the regular edition too for the longest time. And then when I saw the variant, I was like, you know what? No, I think that's going to be the one. Just because the colors are so unique. This is a type of variant you don't see very often either, where it's just another version entirely. So this is the one I bought a few years ago. I think it was 2017, 2018. But I think it was 3 different ones. So he did like an OG Catwoman, which was in the purple suit, and then this animated series Catwoman. This is a type of variant that doesn't like the ones I showed you before, the Batman Begins. You don't see these ones as often as you do the ones that just have like a subtle change in color or saturation, which is disappointing because I feel like this takes a lot more work, obviously, than the ones that just take a few clicks of a button in Photoshop. So these are the prints so far that have been released for the Batman. Does anyone have any questions? I feel like I'm just talking a lot.
No. We had a question in the chat.
Okay.
Tukatri, specifically with the glow prints, he said, I wonder how long the glow-in-the-dark element lasts. Does it last a year or so before it stops glowing?
So I haven't heard of anyone's like fading over time. The one thing I have heard from, so there's an artist I love, not as much as Matt Ferguson, but close, called Mark Engler, and he does a lot of those glow-in-the-dark elements on his prints, and he also does a ton of Star Wars prints. He has said that with people who have prints that don't glow very well, that it's just like those little plastic stars that you stick on your ceiling as a kid. You do have to charge them under UV light. So it's one of the few times that any artist or anyone who collects art prints would recommend that you expose your print to actual daylight or light in general, just to get that effect to show up. But I haven't heard of anyone having degrading issues over time. Also, it tends to be really subtle. I've had questions too where people want to put these in like a bedroom and they don't want to be distracted by something that's really bright. It's not obnoxiously bright because it is a screen print after all. It's not going to have a lot of that glow in the dark ink to it, just with the printing process.
Mark says, I always wonder how people display prints. Do you buy low glare glass and mat them yourselves, or do you get them done professionally?
So great question, because I have a lot of them and I like to hang up most of them. I don't have half of them framed and on the walls just because I can't fit them all. But anti-glare glass is incredibly expensive. So if you could swing it, I'd say go for it. But if you can't, I just live with the fact that I'm going to have a lot of glare on my prints. The most cost-effective way for me to display mine is big box stores. So I tend to not go to Michael's, but I'll go to Hobby Lobby every other week. Their ready-made frames are 50% off. And then you could have the frame shop actually put them together using archive materials, and it's probably $3 from them to do that and put it together. And then you're just paying for the cost of the pre-made frame and glass, because it tends to be the glass that's the most expensive part of a custom framing job as opposed to the frame. And that's another thing to consider is the size of a print. So most of the time, I think art prints, they tend to stick to a standard formula with sizing because they know that people aren't going to want to get them matted all the time. But occasionally, yes, you do have to, and you can just pay for a mat by itself and put them together on your own to kind of do like a DIY project. But yeah, museum glass is very expensive. I bought a shadow box from Bottleneck Gallery. It was a timed release Star Wars one, and it was $20 to upgrade the shadow box to museum glass, and I jumped on it because the artist said that they were probably going to take a loss on that just because of how cheap they offered the glass. And it was not a large piece of glass. It was 18 inches by 12 inches. So this is the first Batman print that I'm aware of that released that was licensed by Dolly, who's an artist I appreciate. I just don't own a lot of his work. I think I have like 2 or 3 of his prints. But this one also had a glow-in-the-dark element to it, whether you got the regular edition or the variant. And I got this because it came out a few weeks ago, so obviously before the movie released. I don't know if the movie was going to be really shitty. So I figured I could spring for a 24 by 18 print by an artist I appreciate and just see if the movie ends up being crap. But I appreciate that I did buy this before it sold out, and I also enjoyed the movie. So this was an edition size of 125 for the. And actually, this is very strange. So the regular and the variant had the same edition size. So it was 125 for both. So you can go to the next slide. This is showing what the glow-in-the-dark ink looks like. So this is the same one I just showed you. This is the regular edition, but it's just showing you that it's the No More Lies kind of graffiti that's going to end up being glow-in-the-dark on this one. Next. Yep. So this is the variant. I really didn't understand the green. I still don't necessarily understand the green. I think I prefer the red. So again, this is one of those situations where I think the artist kind of chooses the best iteration of the art to be the regular one, which is typically more available. But this one, again, the edition size was the same either way. But this one, if you go to the next slide, also had the glow-in-the-dark element to it as well.
I don't like the green.
Yeah, I don't. It seemed very jarring, and it also looked very Christmassy when it released. I just didn't understand it, and like I've since seen the movie, and I still love the movie, and I'm still glad I got the red one. Next slide. So this one was one that everyone was excited about. Marco, did you end up buying this one as well?
I didn't. I thought about it for a long time and ultimately did not pull the trigger.
Damn, I'm disappointed in you, and to think
I'm
I used to like you. So this was what I appreciate about this one as well is, I don't think it was Matt Reeves, but I think someone said that they were inspired by Francisco Frigavilla, I think is how you say it. If I'm butchering that, I apologize. They were inspired by his art style when it came to filming the movie, and so when they did this, I didn't appreciate that it was a 24 by 36, so it's the same size as the two bad boys behind me. But the regular edition was this kind of like red tone, and then and it was timed, so you had until I think Thursday morning at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time till midnight on Sunday to order this. So therefore, the edition size they announced yesterday, I want to say, they're going to print 3,660 of these. So very popular indeed. And then this one was the limited variant that sold out almost instantly. So they made 325 of these available. But again, I think there's something wrong with you if you didn't go for the red one.
And I said this one to get.
Yeah, I said this knowing I hadn't seen the movie yet, but the red seemed to make more sense to me. I was telling people that it kind of reminded me of that McFarlane figure that was red and black, where they're kind of just like beating you over the head with the whole red elements of this.
Yeah, I mean, even the movie posters are red and black.
Yeah, which we'll see one of them actually. Yeah. So next slide. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Can you go to the previous one? I forgot to mention something. So I do have a note on here that it's a 5-color screen print on French index off-white paper. So the paper is not a straight white. It's that cream color. So, and when I mentioned that you could typically tell if it's a screen print versus a giclée by how many colors the print has. So this one is limited to 5. So that's how, if you look at this, you could easily tell it's like most likely a screen print because they're limited to 5 colors on this one. But you can go to. So this was the other one that released. This one was released through Bottleneck Gallery. I want to say Thursday or Friday. So it was the day I think after the Mondo one, but it was on the smaller side, 18 by 24. So the regular was an edition size of 300. I really do appreciate this artist. I just wasn't too fussed about this one as I was the Mondo one. Even though this one was a smaller one, I preferred the variant, how the variant looked at this one. But I kind of just had to limit myself because I do have some self-control sometimes. So I did end up passing on both this one and the variant one. So if you show the variant, I thought that one was a little, which is on the next slide, Zach. I thought this one was better because it kind of fit the theme of the movie, like we said, with the black and red. But this one, so like most variants, this one was the more limited one. It was an edition of 150 versus 300. But that artist is one to watch. I bought his last Dune print that he sold through Bottleneck Gallery. It was fantastic. So this one was a surprise release through Bottleneck Gallery. They said about an hour before they put it up on their website that they were doing a surprise Batman release, and I did not know what to expect at all. And then I was a little whelmed. So this is the theatrical poster that they just turned. They just basically turned into a fine art screen print, and they set an edition size of 350. It was available for a while, I want to say, just because it was unexpected, and also I don't know why you'd splash out the money for a fine art screen print when you could just get the poster, and it's probably going to look the same either way when it's framed. But this was the other, I guess, surprise print that I wasn't expecting that's licensed. I think the other two I have on this list are unlicensed, and I just wanted to feature them because they're by smaller artists. But you can go ahead into the next slide.
CeeCee, on that last poster though, the theatrical poster, I just love that design so much. I think ultimately I'm just gonna like get this off Etsy or something like that,
right?
To kind of go with my other art prints.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful design.
I don't think you have to necessarily go with the fine art Bottleneck release for something like this, but I agree with you that I do appreciate the art. I think if they had done a screen print of this and it was 18 by 24, I probably would have bought it, if I'm quite honest. But because it was gigantic, I just had to kind of pick my battles. So then the next one, the next slide is a little more niche. So I never actually heard of this artist before, but they advertised their work recently, and I did buy this one. The Bat and the Cat. This is a play on the like a homage to the Breakfast at Tiffany's poster that I included a small photo of. And again, it's kind of the off-white paper that Catwoman pinup I showed you earlier that I said was from like 2017, 2018. I plan on displaying these both together, and I think it'll look great.
I love this so much.
I do too.
This is
and also not expensive. I think it's $30. And if you buy it from the artist or from another gallery that's putting it out, they'll ask you if you want the artist to sign it, and they don't charge for that. So
this is fucking cool. Signed.
Yeah, I like that.
Holy shit, I love everything about this.
And then this one is an artist that I actually have a commission that I'm waiting on from, but he put this out. It's a limited edition of 20. It's just basically a giclée, like I said, that fancy kind of inkjet print, but it's on a high quality paper, and it's a smaller size. So I went ahead and grabbed this, even with the shipping coming from the UK, just because, again, I have that kind of like black and white theme going on in some of my collection. So this is another one where you might not recognize the artist name, but I still wanted to feature them just in case this is more someone's speed. It's a little less busy than some of the other ones that I imagine we're going to be seeing. And then this, I guess, like late breaking news, I got this while I was at work today. Bottleneck Gallery released a tease of a print that's going to come out from Phantom City Creative. Now, what I'm excited about is, if you're not familiar with Phantom City Creative, I just know of their work. I don't know anything about the artists themselves, but they tend to be on the smaller side. So they've put out a lot of Batman the Animated Series prints, and they're always like a 18 by 24. So I'm excited to see what this is, and I probably gonna be tempted by it just because it's the kind of size that most people can find a space for in their homes or in a portfolio. But that's basically it. We're a few days into the movie being released, and we've already got a decent number of prints. So I thought people would be interested if they're still riding that hype train after seeing it last week.
With prints, like with 1/6 scale stuff, third party, and even statues, like third party and unlicensed stuff is pretty common. With prints, is that the case also?
Yes. So like the two I showed from the smaller artists, those aren't licensed, but I will tell you, licensing with artists tends to be kind of iffy. I know that there's some like drama that people don't typically want to talk about, where some artists have not been given commissions from big companies because they found out that artists kind of got a following by doing unlicensed work prior. Which is a damn shame, because if they've done unlicensed work for, say, Star Wars or Marvel, it means that they did it because they're fans, right? And those are the kind of artists that you want to see doing the posters and doing like the DVD art and everything else. But some of those big name licensees sometimes don't appreciate that and have turned artists away for that reason and refuse to work with them if they see something like that in a prior portfolio of theirs.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed that presentation. I know several of our listeners are messaging us to try to get you on for a Prince segment. So thank you for that. I thought that was really good. I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
Also, I never knew how to pronounce. I don't even know if I know.
Everyone in the chat was saying it,
Gicle.
yeah. Everyone was like, "What the hell?"
I thought it was like Gickly or something.
If you ever hear us say it wrong
Chicle?
on my print show, it's we know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I learned a lot. And your print show, do you want to plug the next time it's going to be on? We'll plug it again at the end, but
Yeah, so we're aiming for the off weeks of our group therapy, so it's going to be like every other Tuesday. So I'm going to have one next Tuesday right before I go on vacation, and I think we'll be covering a poster / art print auction with Prop Store that's going to go live on the 24th while I'm on vacation, and maybe do some, I don't want to say like unboxings because it doesn't really count, but maybe some unravelings. I did buy like a mystery tube of Matt Ferguson prints that I'm itching to open. And then I'm also going to be getting that bottleneck tube sometime within the next week, I want to say. So if I could figure out how to get that where it's not an unflattering angle of me opening a bunch of tubes and unraveling posters, then I think I'll be attempting that next Tuesday too.
Can I ask you 2 questions, CeeCee?
Yeah.
Okay, the first one is, how long can you? Is it like, does it affect the print if you keep them stored for too long? And you go ahead and answer that one first, I guess, because the other one might be long.
I think it depends on how you store them. So I've been known to buy a print and then forget about it for like a year in a tube. And most people will tell you that that's not good because paper holds a memory, just like most things. So when you go to actually flatten it, it could get damaged because it's been so used to being rolled up for that long. But I have some that I bought a few weeks ago. It's not ideal, but it's also not gonna. It's not the end of the world if it's gonna sit. I had one that I found in my closet that I was sitting there for years, like straight up years, and it was fine.
Oh yeah, I have a couple that I've had for years, and I just haven't got around to framing stuff.
Yeah, I'd say that it's a safer bet to put them in a portfolio, like flatten them and put them in a portfolio if you can. And they make different sizes. And I think if you're like me and you buy a lot of art prints, I think it's a reasonable investment to spend the $150, $200 on a portfolio and put them in there once you flatten them out.
Okay, and then the second one is, why do you get something framed at Hobby Lobby over just like framing it yourself? Like, what's the difference when they do it for you?
Well, I'm really lazy by nature, and so
me too.
I don't want to say they're the pros, but they're more equipped to do it where I'm not, like with my luck, I'm gonna end up with like a dog fur in between the glass and the print, and I don't even own a dog. Like my sister has a corgi that's very fluffy, and even though I see her a few times a year, like inevitably there's gonna be like dog fur under it. So they have air compressors that'll get rid of that. They're used to doing it. They'll finish the back of it so it's not open. So they'll actually like put paper, they'll put bumpers on the back so that it doesn't like hit against your wall. They'll put those like plastic bumpers on the ends. So I'd rather just drop off. I think they hate me because when I do that, I tend to drop off like 8 at a time to get framed. And someone inevitably has to help me put them into my tiny ass car. But I'd prefer they do it. Now I have done it myself through like Frame It Easy is a website where you could buy like strange sizes. Now the only issue a thing I don't like about Frame It Easy is they have acrylic as opposed to glass. So on the wall, if you look the right way, you can actually see that it's acrylic and it has like some flex to it as opposed to glass. But those I have no problem framing, like putting in the frames myself. But if it's a higher quality print, I'd rather just let the professionals handle it.
Okay. Good to know.
Would Hobby Lobby have any options for not having glass at all? I know that doesn't give you the protection, but I'm kind of in an environment where I don't want that glare. I don't want to spend for the museum glass. So I just wasn't
Motherfucker,
sure
you're
if there's an
surrounded
option.
by glass detox. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wow, Zach,
Look at all
you had
this
to come
glare
at
back
him
there.
with that
The
absolutely.
TV's right
honest-
here.
Looks
and
like
so
a
if I-
spaceship, bro. Big damn Star Trek in there.
I think I'd be
damn, dude.
more concerned
Man, live
with
his
like
life.
dust, if anything, if you don't have glass.
Yeah.
I mean, there are anti-glare options. I think they even make like an anti-glare acrylic, but it's just pricey. So if anything, if you're wanting to kind of, I don't want to say cut corners, but yeah, if you're wanting to do it on a budget, but also you hate the idea of glare, and you're not bougie enough to go with like gallery wrapped canvases that don't have glass, because those are maybe 2 or 3 times more expensive than
What does
regular
that
screen
mean?
prints. So a gallery wrap canvas is where the print is on actual actually I have one I can grab. It's on canvas. So they printed it almost like an inkjet process, but on canvas as opposed to paper. So those typically, just by tradition, are not, you don't have to put glass over those. You could just frame them and put them on the wall. Just like anything you'd see at like a art decor store or like a home decor store,
Got it.
versus like paper that you're typically putting behind glass to also protect it. But I don't see a reason why you couldn't go to Hobby Lobby and say, grab a frame off the shelf and say, this glass is trash. Like I want anti-glare like glass. Can you quote me on that? I will
got
tell
it,
you it's going to be expensive still, but at least you're not going to be buying the frame with the glass. I just know a lot of places like Michael's and Hobby Lobby, they'll have to quote you for like for the, should I grab the canvas to show people?
If you want to.
Okay, give me one
Be
second.
cool. Yeah. Canvas is like those ones that are, they're like you could hang it by itself, right? It has the fucking. I mean, if you're cheap, just put it on the fucking hooks. Oh, never mind.
What?
I'm thinking of one that's already on it.
Is that Donald Trump?
Never mind.
It's Han and Carbonite.
Yeah,
I thought that was Donald Trump. It looked like his hair.
Now that you
It
said
looked like
that.
his hair.
That's really dope.
You fired.
So that's canvas as opposed to paper. It's just life-sized. So it's huge.
Live
But
size, wow.
Wow.
I do know, like for that to get it put onto a frame, like stretched over a
Yeah,
frame,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Hobby Lobby, if I wanted glass with it, they would charge me as if I was getting glass and frame and having them put it together. So that's where you could always ask Hobby Lobby, hey, I just want the bougie anti-glare museum glass, but it's expect some sticker shock there.
Wow. They don't have that 40% off coupon anymore either.
Thanks for all that advice, CeeCee.
You're welcome.
Let's get to some miscellaneous movie news. We'll blow through this so we can talk about our movie of the week. AMC is charging more for the Batman tickets than other movies at its theater. It's part of their new variable pricing model, which I don't love it, but I also understand why they're doing it. And a lot of fans were kind of upset to find out that the Zack Snyder's Justice League is the Snyder Cut rather is not eligible for the Oscars because it is a re-edit. So even though there's a massive fan campaign for it to be eligible, the Academy has said that it will not be for this year's Academy Awards. Our movie of the week was Unforgiven. When prostitute Delilah Fitzgerald is disfigured by a pair of cowboys in Big Whiskey, Wyoming, her fellow brothel workers post a reward for their murder, much to the displeasure of Sheriff Little Bill Daggett, who doesn't allow vigilantism in his town. Two groups of gunfighters, one led by aging former bandit William Money, the other by florid English Bob, come to collect the reward, clashing with each other and the sheriff. The film is... I think it was a good pick. This was Danny's pick for movie of the week. Definitely, I haven't seen a ton of Clint Eastwood films, but this was a really good film. I think it really shows that despite the best intentions people may have, sometimes they do have to fall back into things that they're really good at. And in this case, In the film, it shows him trying to move on from some of the things he had done in his past, and he's not a great farmer, and his family's very poor, and you definitely can see the contrast from where they're at, and then when you go to the city, it's all well lit. They're really not struggling, and so he has to go back to sort of being a bounty hunter slash vigilante, and I think it's a very interesting film. A lot of these westerns, you watch them and they're just gunning down people left and right, and this movie really deals with the concept of like how difficult it is to take a life and the ramifications that come from that. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. I honestly wasn't that looking forward to watching it, but I'm glad that Danny picked it. It's a really well received movie. It won 4 Academy Awards for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor for Gene Hackman, and Best Film Editing. In 2004, was also selected for preservation in the United States Film Registry by the Library of Congress, being deemed culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. So that is some of the accolades that it has. But yeah, as a Western film, I enjoyed it, and I honestly really can't say enough good things about it. It was so good that I stopped pretty much everything I was doing. I had to do a bunch of like stuff with the house this week, and I was like, I'll put these PDFs on hold because I was starting to kind of miss some things in the movie, so I had to go back and watch a few scenes, and I'm definitely glad I did because I think this was a really solid pick by wow. Hot Toys apparently teased the Batmobile, so I feel really bad for Yost because he said that Warner Brothers said no one else is working on it, but we'll finish this movie review and then we'll bring out the Batmobile.
He did just say that his sources there told him that, so maybe his sources lied.
Sources need some improvement,
or
there,
he needs better sources. So,
Dean, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a solid movie. Not as gunslinger as I hoped it'd be, but there was some good scenes. I really wouldn't call them like action scenes, but just badass scenes where you're just like, fuck yeah, that was cool. The kid in the movie, super annoying. I understand why he's there. But oh my God, I was like, dude, can this kid just not be here? Morgan Freeman, a delight, an absolute delight. Kind of a piece of shit.
I mean, he's such he is a piece of shit, Dean, but I love that obviously a terrible husband. Let's just get that out of the way.
That's what I meant.
But he's like, nah, I'm not going anywhere without my partner. It's all about the partner. Like, I'm not going to do this without my partner. I'm not going to do this.
Solid bro, terrible.
Definitely husband. A hoe though.
Dude, I was like, man, these guys, it's fucking funny. There's some levity in the movie. It makes you feel good. Yeah, it's a different time. Clint Eastwood's character is very likable. You kind of want to see what he was like in his past, but like he kind of fights it for the whole movie. And then there's like a turning point for his character where he kind of reverts back to it. For me, wasn't enough. I wanted to see him fucking, in the middle of town, fucking shooting people off roofs. You don't get that kind of action. Has anyone here seen the movie Open Range? There's a huge. It's a what's his name? Anyway, there's a huge shootout at the end of the movie, and it's fucking amazing. But anyway, yeah, this was such a solid movie. A lot of really like memorable characters. Slim, the writer. I forget it. He's just like, I'm a writer. Like every chance he gets.
Dude, I literally thought that was John Oliver, and then at the end credits, I was like, what the fuck? That's not John Oliver.
Wow, that's racial, bro. That seems racial.
I want to add one thing.
Jew, and all of a sudden they're all.
What the fuck? I didn't know he was Jew. I just thought he was British. How dare you? I see one Jew every day, and it's my favorite friend, Dean. I want to add one thing to Dean's, and then you guys can go on. But I think it's so great that there wasn't like a cheesy montage scene where he goes from like being terrible with the pistol to like fucking bullseyeing everything. It was so real. It's like, fuck it, like I gotta go today, like I fucking suck, but I'm just gonna find what I can do to make it work.
For sure, this movie feels so real. Like, as cool as it would be to see an awesome like gunfight, you know, this movie is very like heavy in reality and like what would actually be possible. It's cool. It's a really great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I am probably never getting invited back. I didn't watch it.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I haven't watched
Some of our people didn't watch it either.
No, I'm
So.
kidding.
Wait, you didn't watch it, Dean?
I'm just real honest about it.
No, I'm saying a lot of times I haven't watched the movies.
You know, I should have just lied and
dare
been
you.
like, oh yeah, Clint Eastwood, you know, he's always a badass. Yeah. Just Clint Eastwood, you know, it's just like a Clint Eastwood movie. Like what more could you want? Anyway.
You could just talk about
John,
the
what are
Rotten
your
Tomato
thoughts?
score and the runtime, and then you're good.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
golden.
I watched it. I enjoyed it. Watched 2 westerns in my life. This and Tombstone.
You
And
haven't
this
seen Django?
this obliterated Tombstone in my
My
opinion.
man.
Obliterated Tombstone.
Really?
2 hours and 11 minutes.
Tombstone was a real story, though.
I don't care if it was real or if it wasn't real. This obliterated it. 8.2 out of 10.
Wow.
96% on Rotten Tomatoes. I just love this movie. Takes a little time to get off the ground, but once you get to the climax of the movie, wow. First of all, that's what this world, let me explain to you. That's what this world's lacking is friendships and relationships. Like, I'm not going to say, I'm just going to say the actors' names because the names are whatever. Okay, you know what? For good, we'll keep it professional here. Relationships and friendships that Mooney, and Ned had. That's what this world's lacking. That's the problem with the world. How they kept each other's back, and they were there for each other, and it's nothing broke that. That's what we need in this world. The movie was great.
The horrors. The horrors did break that.
Okay, Zach, you gave your 2 cents, no?
Oh, I'm gonna give you a whole dollar at this rate, baby.
Jesus.
Hang on, let me hit you with.
This is my show.
again?
I do what the hell I want on my show.
Okay, I'm done.
If Val
Go ahead.
Kilmer's not in this one, but he is in Tombstone, then this movie ain't shit compared to
Wow.
Tombstone. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Equan, he did say the runtime, so
I got the runtime, guys. This is
Got that
professional stuff
covered.
here. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Marco. You're good to go.
I think this movie teaches us a really valuable lesson that no one will pay good money for a cut-up whore. So that's something we got to
Wow, you
remember.
practiced that one.
What? That is
Eddie. Now you got to watch it.
It's in the movie, bro.
So this was a big inspiration for Logan, right? Like this is kind of like the over the hill, like reluctant hero basically. And those are some of my favorite stories. Like obviously Logan, Last of Us, like someone that's just reluctant to go into battle. And really Clint Eastwood, I'm not a big Western guy, but phenomenal in this. Morgan Freeman, and then the Hackman, like all their acting was just top notch. So definitely recommend it.
Okay, first of all, the best Western in the world is Wild Wild West.
Thank you.
I will not hear an argument.
That movie's a fucking banger. I can't believe some people in our Patreon chat said that movie sucked. That movie's fucking awesome.
Fuck those guys. It was probably
I fuck
Brenton.
with Wild Wild West. Jesus Christ. I don't think it was Brenton, but
Just kidding,
Brenton's
dude.
sleepy.
well, I guess Jesus.
Okay, what's our next movie of the week?
Actually, Marco, please, movie of the week is yours.
Yeah, so this is one that I've been wanting to rewatch for a while now, but 300. I loved it when I was in college, and just really haven't. I've been meaning to go back, and
Hey,
I'm
John.
not sure if it's going to hold up.
Didn't
What's up,
some
buddy?
of us have to be here like 300 episodes to get a movie of the week?
Oh, what?
Wow.
I gotta go, guys. It's been nice knowing you.
Eddie, maybe you should have been better on those first 300 episodes.
Oh,
Whoa!
boom, boom.
Dude, with that mare force, dude.
Cut me deep.
Too much
Oh
confidence.
yeah, I
buddy.
hate to see it. It was time. It was time for Marco to get a movie of the week. It was also time for us to have a first look at Batman's iconic crime-fighting gadget, the Batmobile. Eddie, we mentioned when we were talking to the Patreon chat, like showing it in the back doesn't mean it's a thing. It could just be a prop or whatever. Now that they're showing it as a photo on their Facebook, still doesn't mean it's guaranteed, right? We've seen Shazam, we've seen Poe on their Facebook. and we ain't seen Paul no more. So I don't know that this is a
Wow.
guarantee that we're gonna get.
Jesus.
You like that? I don't know that it is not guaranteed that it's gonna become a thing, but boy, that I feel terrible for just I don't know.
Someone said it in the look at the top comment.
Yeah, I think.
Well, and
I
what
feel bad
Zach
for
said to
Yost.
it, it's like you're lost for words. It was like, we can see your comment. You're like, dude, for real.
I mean that's.
Oh,
that's all I
you're
can
fucked
say.
up. I can't see his comment. What the fuck?
I mean, it's true. I think he's been developing this for quite a while. I think he said it's been a few, I think a month or two that he's been working on it, with the knowledge that it was, going to be them doing it. And again, licenses can be split by price point, by region. So
To Kenneth, you're saying if Yoast can get theirs out before, really, still.
John, I still am in the camp that his will be.
Oh,
I don't know
completely
about
agree.
better, but he's gonna go more.
He's
in
gonna
depth
he's gonna
on
get
working
into
on this
the
thing.
interest. He's gonna get into all the details and get all that thing. But
I don't think the Hot Toys will have the special effects like Yoast. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen Hot Toys do like a smoke effect. I think
Or sound.
obviously, I imagine they're both going to have access to the same references, but I think the level of care that Yoast will take is going to be more than Hot Toys. I think you're also going to pay a little extra for that level of care. But man, that's upsetting, bro. Super upsetting.
I feel like
upsetting.
they're
Why is it
directly.
upsetting?
Well, not for me for me personally, but I mean,
Yeah.
Yoast probably spent a lot of money to be able to do this, and
it's part of the game.
I feel like
I
they're
think-
directly like competing. Lately, I feel like everything's been like a back and forth between them. You know.
I mean, it's all about escalation. I mean, there's times where, even us, like we'll see people doing really well, and I'm like, damn, we got to really
Bro,
step our shit up.
you're
I think
not
it brings out the best, the competition.
I don't care who you are, and like he's a great guy, great family, love what's happening, support small business, but you're not gonna tackle Hot Toys. I'm sorry, go for the stuff that
You
are
the
hold on a
weirdest
second. Hold
human
on a
being
second.
I've ever met in my
Eddie, let me
entire
talk. Fuck,
fucking
man.
life.
Jesus
I swear.
Christ, let me talk. I
He
sat here silent for like the last
shits
hour.
on
I'm trying
Hot
to talk.
Toys all the time, and you're
I'm shitting
such
on
a
Hot. Listen,
contradictory human being.
I shit on Hot Toys when Hot Toys needs to be shit on, and then when they do things that deserve credit, I give them credit where it's due. It's a balance. I'm not going to just shit on them. You got people who just shit on them, even when they do something good. You shit on them. You got people that just praise them.
What are you crediting them here, though? Like, what is the credit you're giving them?
Well, they're doing the Batmobile, so they're giving
Yeah,
collectors
but what is the credit over juiced? What is the?
It's not juiced. So if you're going to be a fan, let's pronounce the name right. I don't know what juiced is. It's
He shouldn't have
Yost.
fucking spelled his name that way. So that's not what I asked, though.
Regardless,
What-
you're taking off the train of thought. Let me get back on. Go ahead.
From what John earlier we were saying that Hot Toys is sweating now, but now we can't touch Hot Toys. So
That's what I'm saying.
No, but
I
let
get
me
confused.
Okay, but let me finish. If I don't get cut off, it'd be great. Hot Toys. We're not talking about what's the face Queen Studios. We're not talking about that because I still said, like I said in the beginning, Hot Toys is sweating me for that. But depending on how Queen Studios attacks this project, they're going to be competing with J&D. So besides that, I'm talking about this. If Yost was smart, okay, Yost did your Batmobile with Val Kilmer, smart. I don't think Hot Toys is going to touch that. He did although it's unlicensed, he touched the, what do you call it? The Star Wars cockpit. Beautiful. I saw that cockpit Hot Toys did, wanted one immediately. They didn't do it, Hot Toys. Yost was smart by tackling. The Jedi Fighter, another example of projects you could do. The Speeder, unfortunately, they're all kind of unlicensed items, but that's where the demand is. You're going to go for a license that Hot Toys has? Come on. They're gonna do it. They showed the Batmobile. It was inevitable. Not the Batmobile, the bike. It was inevitable that they were going to do this.
Well,
so
they
you're
didn't do
saying
BVS
the
one, right?
competition is only if it's something that they're not doing themselves?
He's too small to compete with Hot Toys.
I disagree, though.
What are you talking about? You disagree? He's too small.
What does the size have to? I mean, other than the obvious joke
Jesus
there,
Christ.
but what does the size matter?
I need that on my wall, Eddie.
I know.
Well, Eddie, we're gonna save it. I think we should save it for a different show, man.
You're 100% wrong in this scenario
I love
because
your
you have
opinion.
no, like.
I think it's all.
Tell me why the size fucking matters in this
The
scenario.
size does matter because
No,
that's
because
why,
if it's smaller,
well, that's
he can make
that's
a better
why
product.
Yoast, Joust, whatever you want to say.
Jesus
That's why
Sounds
he's
worse
charging
than my
you.
joke.
He's charging you 2,000, 1,500 to 2,000 for this.
We don't
thing.
know that price yet.
Okay, well, let's just based on speculation of what's been said in the community. I believe the
Jesus
community.
Christ. Adrian,
Okay, but in your argument, then Sideshow and Queen, obviously two different prices. Sideshow's gonna reproduce the hell out of their statue for a cheaper price, which is what Hot Toys is gonna do. And Juiced is the Queen Studios in this scenario, where he's gonna make less for a higher price that will be better.
But it's the same vehicle. Hot
It
Toys and
just
Queen
seems-
Studios are not
I
making
think-
the same statues.
I think what
That
Eddie's saying
doesn't-
is.
yeah, they
I think
are.
what
They're
Eddie's
making
saying is,
two Spider-Mans or two. I'm saying in.
Yeah, but
I
they're
think what
different-
Eddie is saying
Okay.
is that because Yoast is hand making every single Batmobile, he's able to give it the attention where it's him, his, the 4 or 5 of his family members, versus Hot Toys where it's going to a factory and there might be 20 people working on one Batmobile that are each just doing one specific part. But that comes with a cost in Yoast's production, which is it's a much more expensive labor, basically.
I haven't purchased from him. It's not because I have anything against. It's just shipping and everything. Again, it hits a price point. I think he's based out of the UK. It ends up being really expensive. But I've read, it was mentioned today in the chat, that final product, when it's released in hand, there's issues with it. I know with the cockpit, there were some issues with some screws, and I know that there was some issues with the noise feature, the feature that made the sound. When plugging it in, you had to get a certain adapter and so forth. That's fine. Not to say that he's not going to get better, but I think now in this day and age, when we're comparing, that price point is really high. I don't think he's producing Queen Studios level to be charging that amount. I just think he's charging that amount because that's the size of the company he's working with now, and that's the cost it's costing him. He can't mass produce. He can't mass produce at that level and bring the price down. Oh, boy.
Let's see what the price comes out to, and then we can have that discussion.
What would you predict, Zach, on the Hot Toys one?
Let me look up the price of the tumbler real quick, and I'll give you a number.
Like $675 if that.
But that was so cheap because the tumbler is huge. It's not like a normal
steal.
size car.
It's a steal price.
Okay, give me 3 seconds. Let me.
I paid
look this bad
$700
boy.
for the Canadian. That's even cheaper. US. That's
the DeLorean. What was it, John? It was 8.
No, I'm even saying the '89 Batmobile. I paid $700 Canadian back in the day when that
I think
came
the
out.
DeLorean was $825 though.
Okay, if it's $825, then I'm gonna say.
It'll be under 1,000.
I'm gonna say $750.
Okay. And is that a price point that would make you pull the trigger, perhaps?
That would be.
It's a tough one.
I would cancel if it was $750. I would cancel the Advanced Suit Prime 1 Batman and probably pick that up instead. To be honest, I'm also trying to find the price of the new tumbler, but I cannot find it. Here we go.
Let me ask you one other question.
$630.
Does Yoast limit? Does he have an edition size?
No. He does sometimes multiple runs. Okay, so the tumbler at $630 I think is just a great deal.
Great
because
value.
it's a fairly large vehicle.
Massive.
I would say that's an outlier for price.
Which
I mean, I
also
guess
had a
unless
lot
the
of
DeLorean
problems
license.
in the original release.
What's that, Eddie?
The tumbler had a lot of issues in its
Like
original
what?
release.
The little flaps on the back were very fragile.
I own both of them, and I had absolutely no issues with it.
Well,
that doesn't mean there wasn't
you're an
issues with
outlier.
it. That just means that,
Yeah.
yeah, every single one that I've seen, the little flaps have broken off. You can glue them back on. It's pretty easy, but they're pretty fragile. Dean, you know it's not pretty fragile? Our Patreonians, the sweet angels of the network.
Dude, if you're in the chat, you cannot be fragile. And these guys, they bring the heat every day. We want to shout out Sean Fear, Ian Seavey, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, Lemur Hernandez, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley,
Uh-oh.
Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty. What happened? What was
You
that?
glitched out for a second. You're good.
Oh. David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Kreb, Big Ol' Fern, King Zach, Caesar Mariquin, Micah Cruz, Lisa Martin Bomoski, Rick DeGregorio, Alvin Jules, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Irwin Ozasina, The Illustrious Rainer, Aled Morgan, Tucon 3, Matt Clevenger, that's a new name, Clevenger. Let us know, Matt. Seth Tucker, CeeCee3PO, shout out, she's right here. What an angel. Scott Smith, Dolmathon, Bola Boyd, Jimmy James, Stephen Pritchett, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Stephen Maria Stanley, Josie Contreras, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer.
Sweet angels. Thank you, Dean, for that. We have March Patreon benefits going out around the 20th. The Pose Wars Hollow sticker, an absolute classic. And the Dylan Small Talk sticker. Finally, Dylan is getting immortalized in sticker form. We have 3 tiers. Now, these are changing just a bit. $5, you get the sticker sent straight to your door and access to Ox After Dark replay. The $15 tier is the figure fix assistance and the certified crispy certificate, and all the benefits of the previous tier. The $25 tier is the difference here. Instead of the 18x24 signed silhouette poster, which if you have already been a top tier, you'll be getting that. We have Sam and Ricardo. Dean, we got to get those signed. You will get an exclusive Pog Deluxe set on your first pledge. Doubles of all the stickers we send and all the benefits of the previous tiers. International postage above $5 will be charged at cost for the Pogs. So I think it was last After Dark that we talked about Pogs, but they're quite cool, and a lot of the Patreonies love the idea. And we have 2 proofs. So if you're a Patreon member, you can vote on Patreon for the black backing card or the blue one. But these are the first 6 Pogs we're gonna make. And if you're an existing What a Guy member, you'll get those when they release as well, as long as your membership is current. So we have the Oxfather Gandalf, the Dino's cereal, the left-handed Jumbo, the So Many Bees sticker, the gold exclusive Collecting Weekly Live gold back Pog, and the CW What a Guy logo. Nadine. And actually, John, because I think you're going to be very interested in this, these are limited to 25. So once these sell out, we'll go to a next design, and then that'll be another maybe 25, depending on how many people want them. And we'll go from there. So these will not be reissued, as it were.
You love it.
At least in this exact current coloration and logos. So we have a lot of ideas for more Pog sets. I know I was talking with Eddie about doing a Small Talk and OFAC 6-pack, the Dungeons & Dragons 6-pack, different Z-Team 6-packs, so all kinds of great ideas there, and they're very reasonably priced. The posters were just a little too pricey to order and ship, and a little inconvenient for us to get them signed in person, so we'll be doing these as a thing from here on out, and we're also going to do some non-deluxe Pogs. It'll be a white and gold CW logo with a different backing, and those will just be randomly chosen. So some people will get the Chase, the gold version, some people will get the white and yellow. So stay tuned for that. We got some really cool stuff coming, and that'll be our new sort of like top tier premium item. For channel members, we got some great people supporting us. So we got Mojo Z78, OG Fan, Absolute Irwin, Beme, Test Jess 1, Mark Pearson, DK Avenger 702, Ben Thomas, OMFG Rick, Justin Harass, Mike Oxlong, Paul Schreiber, S Beam, Andrew Gibo, Andres IB, CeeCee3PO, Daminator, Lemur, Hernandez, and Sam. Big shout out to Paul, because Paul's actually sponsoring the Pogs and a really cool thing for Dungeons & Dragons, which we're not really ready to show just yet. But it was a pretty big contribution that he made for us to be able to get both of those products off the ground floor. So round of applause for Paul. Definitely a great guy. And Eddie says, any plugs for the future? I don't know what that means. But I will say this. In the chat, some people were asking for some different emojis of hosts. So I think we need to get 3 more members to unlock a next emoji. And when that happens, we'll put up a poll, and you guys can vote which host you want to be an emoji next.
Oh, that's
I think I saw a few people asking for John as the next emoji.
Wow.
So we'll let you guys vote. So we need 3 more members to make that happen. And memberships start at 99 cents if you're a Patreon, or $2.99 if you're in the Peanut Gallery. You get membership shoutouts, loyalty badges, and access to exclusive emojis. So that's pretty cool. Our network, CW Live, OFAC, Small Talk, After Dark, in and outs of Collecting, the Ringcast, Collecting Weekly Live Unboxing, Bricks and Brews, Collectors Club, Pose Wars, and our new logo for Live and Let Dice. Shout out to Manny for doing that. Our schedule for the week, tomorrow we have 10:30 After Dark. Golden Ass Gwen is coming back on the show. She said that she had some crazy stuff happen in her life, and we're going to talk about our trials and tribulations tomorrow, because that's what we do on After Dark. Thursday at 2:30 is OFAC. And then Friday, John, is 10 correct for Collectors Club?
That's correct.
Awesome. So Collectors Club will be at 10. And then Saturday at 10, we also have Pose Wars. So that's a very exciting event for us to do. And we got a great... Yeah, we got a jam-pack. We've got a great list of posers that are going to be joining us there. TeePublic is where you can find all of our swag. We just put up the new D&D logo that Manny made, so check that out if you're interested. And John, let's go ahead and read our socials, please.
Yeah, we got our Facebook group, Collecting Weekly. We also have Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, where all the fun stuff happens within the group members. You know, sales posts, news, everything like that. We got on Instagram at Collecting Weekly, at Collecting Weekly _clips, where all the funny bloopers and everything funny is there. You gotta follow that group. At the Everyday Collector and In and Outs of Collecting for all the statue news.
Now we got a question here from Tukatri. He said our slammers rather are going to be offered as well. We have a quote for slammers. It'll probably be like a one-time thing because they're super expensive. So that'll be very limited. And I guess if we do another one in the future, it'll be a different design. But we have gotten a quote for those, so stay tuned. And that's our show. We got 2 great guests with us. So CeeCee, Marco, do you guys want to plug the channels that you're on and what you guys got going on?
So we have group therapy this coming Friday, and then I just have Hoth off the press next Tuesday. But other than that, I'm glad you guys were able to have me on and talk about all the shit I spend all my money on. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. CeeCee, great presentation today. I learned a lot. And on our channel, we've got a few unboxings coming up, and we've got, longtime lurker in the chat, and then also Unboxer Cuervo coming on our show on Saturday, 11 Pacific time. So we've really been having great conversations with the community. I think, Dean and I might have something in the works here in the near future, and want to get all the rest of you guys on again. And Eddie, you actually haven't been on yet on our channel. So we got to get you and hopefully Adriana on as well.
Fuck? Oh, I don't know what you guys got going on. How dare you? Yeah, John's chopped liver. What the hell?
That's okay. I don't want to.
John, you were on the very first episode, bro.
That's true.
Was I?
Jesus Christ!
Thanks for remembering. It was great content, by the way.
John, you made a very special post for a very special day.
Yep.
Let's shout out some of those people on that post.
Well, I gotta
Taco
pull it
Tuesday?
up now if I can remember the name. No, seriously, guys. Today was
International Women's Day.
International Women's Day.
I'm being a dick, dude.
Yeah. Well, we're used to that. So yeah, happy International Women's Day to all women, especially the women in the collecting community that deal with our baloney. Some are involved, some have to deal with.
So only the women in the collecting community matter to you?
No, I said all, and
It's
especially
not International Collector Community Women's Day. You fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking guy. Happy International Women's Day to Adriana, because she has to put up with your fucking bullshit every fucking night. I would have been fucking see ya, Gonzo.
He's not wrong.
You ever see The Flash? I'll be fucking flashing out of there.
Wow.
But no, seriously, on a serious note, happy International Women's Day to you guys.
Wow, I thought you were going to name the women, but yes. Happy International Women's Day. CeeCee and all the lovely women of the world.
Feels
I love
wrong to
women.
clap. I don't know why.
I love all women of the world.
That's the
I
problem.
don't know why it's been a few years, but the fucking first Deadpool movie kind of like ruined International Women's Day. Do you remember that joke?
Yes.
Yeah, anyway,
that did not ruin it at all. But I'm not doing that. I think Marco does it every day though.
Everyone who's celebrating that way tonight.
That's
Dude,
a no-go.
Equan
Pagan
said,
is a no-go.
I thought the exact same thing. Equan said, brings up memories to that one more time John meme. When you did that, I need that to be in the clip. Fern, please make that happen. Man. Anyways, yeah, shout out to everyone watching. You guys are all great. Yeah, it was a good show, CeeCee. That was a great presentation. I feel like I learned quite a bit. And it's great to see how many amazing prints there are for a movie that just came out like last week. So
Yeah.
But anyways, Dean, do you have any shouts you want to give? All right. Let's Google in Elden Ring or something. All right. Well, I'm Zach.
Oh, no.
I'm Dean.
Oh, I'm Dean. Sorry, I didn't know.
Jesus Christ.
I thought it was me. I was like, fuck, I got to No, I'm doing D&D stuff right now.
That's professional.
Hop in Discord after this. Anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Eddie.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Marco.
I thought you were Vengeance.
God damn it, John. We had it. We had it perfectly.
Women's Day,
I thought he was. I thought.
Fucking. How dare you?
I thought he was Vengeance.
Would talk over me on International fucking
No,
Women's Day.
this is how we're gonna end it. Just
One more
CeeCee's gonna
time.
end it. Pull everybody off.
Strong word.
Yeah, CeeCee.
Pull everybody off.
I'm CeeCee.
Now you want her to pull everybody off? It's International Women's Day.
End the fucking show. End it now.
Oh my god.
Fucking 2 hours and 30 minutes. You guys are fucking. Look, even his cat.